Welcome to today's stream. Give me a second. I need to set up everything perfectly. Hope you had a nice day so far. Welcome, Bosso. Welcome. So there we go. Here I am. So as always, if you have any comments, any feedbacks, let me know. Any questions, that's the most important part. I'm very hyped about the upcoming patch. I'm really hyped, I have to be honest. Will be a really good one. Welcome, Filthy. Welcome. Oh, wait a second. My Blizzard is not working. Give me a second. Oh, this is so annoying. I have it very often that the Blizzard does not work and I have to set it up again. Very sad. Now it should work. Yes, there we go. So, Filthy had a question. So let's answer this straight away. So the question is actually a really good one. And it's not stupid at all. It's a really good question that I think a lot of people actually might have the same issue. So if you play a build that is perfectly the meta build, like you have full ascended gear, or you actually have at least the correct stats and stuff, then in Snowcrofts, they very often tell you to go full Berserker, for example, and swap to some dragon pieces. So why do they do that? So for example, here I have the back piece on this Power Vindicator build uses a dragon back piece. Everything else is Berserker as far as I know. So Berserker stats give you power and precision and ferocity with the main stat power. Dragon, on the other hand, gives you, as a main stat, power and ferocity, a little bit less, of course, because it's 4 stats, but still, and you get precision and vitality. So you do that because you would overcat on crit chance, so I get, from Fury, I get 25% increase plus the normal 25, so that means I get exactly to 100% crit chance with this setup. That means I can drop a little bit of the precision that I would normally get from the Berserker, and put it into the stats that you see here, vitality and a little bit more ferocity. The reason that this is good to do is, of course, because of the ferocity. Ferocity gives you a little bit more damage. And backpiece is one of the things that gives you the least amount of stats. So yes, Filthy, you are correct. Dragon is slightly better than Berserker, but because if you swap to Berserker, I can do that actually here and showcase that, you lose, let's say we have 239.4 critical hit damage. If I swap to Berserker, I lose like 0.8%. And I overcap a little bit more in crit chance, yes, but you know, it's like this difference is like really minuscule. It's a difference, yes. On average, if you bench with the same rotation, you will get more DPS if you have the Dragon's back piece, but like a 0.8% crit chance increase, a critical hit chance increase is actually not that high. So for this build in particular, it's not that important to have the full dragon pieces, yeah? And the health itself, you know, that you get a little bit more vitality, that's just some, I would say, quality of life that you get on tops. Let's say you get like 200 or something health out of that. That's not bad, you know? I don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but it's definitely not something that is absolutely insane, that breaks the build if you don't have it. So going for full Berserk on this build, in this particular build, is actually not a big deal. But I will show you another build where it's actually quite important that you have, if you have dragon pieces and stuff in there. For example, builds like, I can show you, on Elementalist or on, do I have a Weaver? No, I don't have a Weaver set up here. So on Weaver, for example, or on Virtuoso, those builds, if they take dragon pieces, yeah, they typically don't do that because they have, or at least Virtuoso doesn't do that because they have trouble crit capping on most part. But you like to crit cap on every build. You like to have the highest critical hit damage on every build. But, and that's the cool part for some builds, there are some builds that have like stats like this. Yeah. This thing gives you ferocity based on a percentage of vitality. And this means that you actually, from Dragon, get even more ferocity than you would usually get because you get this conversion on top of that. So the vitality itself is again an offensive stat, not only a defensive stat. So that means for those builds, it's even better. And that's why Viva actually makes a lot of use of Dragon pieces, because they actually have a very or somewhat easy time crit capping, and they use like half their gear as Dragon because it actually gives them so much ferocity. So keep that in mind. Some builds are really good with Dragon pieces, where others are like, yeah, if I get to 100% crit chance, I can run full Berserker as well. It doesn't matter that much. So keep that in mind. It's really like, it depends highly on the build that you're running it with. Yeah. Hope that answers your first question there. By the way, welcome everyone. Just wanted to answer this question directly. Welcome everyone. Hope you had a nice day. So we have a question here from Nico. I struggled choosing between Rev and Necro. Which one do you recommend for PvP, World versus World mostly? So I would say Revenant is a very good pick in all game modes, especially in competitive modes right now, where Revenant is a really good class for filling a lot of roles. Necromancer, on the other hand, I would say is Reaper is very on top in PvP right now. It's really Reaper, and I think Reaper and Harbinger are really good for small scale stuff like roaming, like SPVP. So they are really good there. Scourge, on the other hand, is the Zerg Queen or King. It's really good in Zerg play. They nerfed it like 100 times. It's still very good. So I would say if you like to play, if you want to be safe, you go with Necromancer, because Necromancer is almost always meta in those game modes. It's really, really good. And if you want to play some more aggressive builds that are really, so to say, currently really good and currently meta, like Renegade in PvP, then Revenant is the best choice. But I personally think you should go for the one that is actually that you like the gameplay of, the how it looks. So if you have if you want to get more insight how this class plays, maybe you can type exclamation mark. I can do it for you, exclamation mark classes in the Twitch chat. And I have a video where I showcase all of those. And that is maybe helping you decide, because it's somewhat always important that you actually see how it looks. That's the more important part, what you actually enjoy playing. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. Would you mind do some run with new PvE player strike missions that I don't like jumping puzzle and can't finish my weekly mission? Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, sure. We can do that. Let me first answer the other question that Filthy had, or we can in the meantime actually look for some player. So just I will set up a squad and you can squad join then. Give me a second. I can't even create a squad here. Oh my god, this is so scuffed. I think the homestead is actually quite bad in that regard. Yeah, you can't do a lot of stuff in there. It's really sad. So then we will do it with someone else. Don't worry, don't worry. So Filthy had a question about what kind of changes I expect in terms of Scourge in particular, I think. Yeah, don't worry. Write me when you have time and we can do it. Amen, don't worry. What kind of changes I expect to Scourge? So currently I can showcase that. Scourge is a very good pick in PvE right now. In competitive modes, I would say it's a decent pick in push, but push is over right now, so it's not really that interesting. And the last thing that is actually, so to say, oh my god, I'm standing in combat here, no. In World vs. World, it's always very good in Zerg play, I would say, for the boon removal and the AoE corruption and that kind of stuff. So it's really, for the AoE stuff, it's really good there. But in roaming, it's not that good. So I would say in competitive modes, it struggles to some extent, with the exception of Zerg play. But when you talk about competitive modes, with the new staff changes, I can show the build that is actually run here. Where is it? Heal Alacrity Scourge. There, I finally found it. So this is the build that you would usually run. Like you would run Blood Magic, Soul Reaping, and Scourge. And you go for only defensive skills, you know, like protection, like healing to your allies, transfusion for the passive healing around you when you press the Garnish Pillar button. You get some passive life force in that stuff. So this is the full support PvE build. And in PvP, you would run actually quite similar if you want to go for supporters. And I feel like in PvP, it's still too weak because the numbers are too weak. Even with the changes to staff, it will not change in PvP. That's my prediction. It might be working in silver play if you have, let's say, not that good enemies, then it might work. But if you're getting some decent players in the match that are really, they know the Scourge is an easy target or something, or is very slow and doesn't rotate that good, so then it struggles. So I would not recommend running it in Conquest. In Push, it's very good as a support. When it comes to World versus World, I want to test it myself, but I highly expect it to be a decent support there. So with staff and the trade here, I think this will be really good, Filthy. Something like this setup. So a full support Scourge that corrupts and just provides a lot of utility to the Zerg. With the stuff in most part. For PvE, and that's the interesting part, you actually have quite a decent set of weapons already. Yeah. So you have the dagger, which gives some nice healing, boon corrupt. You have the torch for some nice might, and for life force generation as well with the dagger, a lot of life force. And then you have the offhand, which is the pistol for the CC, and for even more CC with Veil of Doom, and some lifesteal and swiftness. You keep swiftness up with this trait alone, with the skill alone. So the thing is, what would you drop? Would you drop this set to go for the staff so that you can't upkeep swiftness anymore and don't have that much CC? Or would you drop your life force generating stuff, which would also drop the might? Yeah. So you have to think about what you actually want to drop to actually make that work. And in my opinion, it depends on the situation, and that's the sad part. I think you can't always say, I will run staff and will run dagger's torch. That's not working. I think, yeah, they can generate in life force, I know, with the trait here. But even if that's enough, because this is on the auto take the life force, you still lose the might. You get a lot of might from this. It's immense amount of might. So I think it's a really hard choice, and it depends on what you actually... The new marks, I think, don't give might. I think they give vigor, regeneration, heal, cleanses, and stability. I think there is no might in there as far as I know. Which is okay because you have this trait, but if you need a support, an offensive support that provides might as well. I think you can't go to 25 might with staff if you don't go with torch in the offhand. But yeah, I feel like it's like a weapon that has a place in situations where you need the stability, where you need the extra cleanses and healing. Yes, I think that is a good place. But I feel like it is not the build where I say always run this. I think it's not always the optimal choice. And I think because you can drop the Mercy Relic, which I currently run, it's really good on Scourge because you actually use that as well with Transfusion, because that revives and that revives here, the skill. So all of those revive, and this means that all your allies have higher health when they come up or go to full health. And you will drop that because you can't use Transfusion for that anymore, so it's not that good anymore. And I think because of that, you will probably run just with, how is it called? Faber Relic. Because with the Faber Relic, you can upquick Swiftness permanently on your allies. For the most part, if you run this. And you can drop the Locust Swarm. I think that might be the case then. But still, I think it's not ideal. I think it is like it's like classical support where you have to mix and match your weapons and your traits and your relic even to the situation. You cannot always say, this is the only build I run and it works all the time. I think that's what they want to do. They want to have alternatives that are making sense. That's my idea. Yes, if you have Tempest or Cutter in your team, you will get Swiftness. That's correct. There's a lot of Swiftness around, but if you don't have supporters that provide it, then you have issues, yes. Welcome, Frozen. I used your build for Thief, like 1 button, 2 pistols. It's cool and easy in PvE. Is it possible to do something like that in PvP? The problem is I can showcase that as well, but I can just easily tell you already that Thief... I will get back to you, Filth. I just want to answer this question. Thief unload in PvP, yeah, is heavily, and I'm not talking about a bit, but it's heavily nerfed. Yeah, I can showcase that, I think, on my Thief. Give me a second. It's heavily nerfed, like insane. It's really, first of all, it's harder to hit, of course. You know, you need to hit all those attacks on unload to actually get the refund of the initiative. You know, gain initiative if all attacks hit. So that means that you have to hit all your attacks to actually make that work. That's in PvP harder because the enemies are actually smart, you know, they might dodge, they might go behind the wall or something, yeah. And even if that works, you only get 1 initiative back instead of the 2 as in PvE. And the more important part is actually that the initiative cost of this skill in PvP, yeah, is double. It's double the amount. So that means if I use 1 unload, almost half my initiative on Spectre, or even all of it on Spectre, and on other builds like Daredevil, it's actually still half of this if I spam it, yeah. So that means you get punished for using the skill and not hitting all attacks, and you get punished for using the skill in the first place because you get 6 instead of 3 initiative costs. So that's why you can play it, but it's way worse. It's way worse than all other builds, so to say, that would use some kind of range pressure just because they don't want the skill to be meta. That's sadly the truth here, Frozen. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I think you can go Dagger Torch with Staff for range support. I think that would probably the choice that I would make, and drop the Warhorn if you don't need CC. I think if you don't have crazy CC with Staff, so I think it's a good choice if you don't need crazy CC. But you can also go, of course, for Flash Golem and Spectral Grasp, all that skills. And then you have a decent time as well with CC. So I think that might be the new build that you run. But I feel like the Warhorn actually provides a decent amount of value if you need swiftness, if you need to do mechanics and that kind of stuff. So overall, I think it's always heavily depending on the situation. It's not always one build that is the only one that works. And I think that's a good balancing. You know, that's how it should be, in my opinion. Yeah. So let's see, what do I want to do? Maybe play some PvP right now. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, are you hyped about the new quality of life changes that are coming? So we get quality of life changes with the next patch, which comes out on Tuesday. And they are actually, I think, quite nice. Overall, I'm really happy about them. So let me summarize what is coming. So we get apparently a change of how this summon doorway will function. You can go to different locations or put that in there. That's really cool. Or how it looks at least. And you can change those portal scrolls that we have. You can put them all in one together. It's really nice. So it will not, let's say, use your shared inventory as much anymore. That's really good. So there are a lot of cool things coming. Also the gobblers, I think they want to rework so that the ascended gobblers that just gobble your ascended bloodstone dust and stuff away. I think they want to rework those as well. Everything is coming. It's really nice. I'm really hyped about this as a inventory management, let's say, fan. So let's see if that's actually turning out to be very good or if it's just a little bit an interesting announcement, but not too much of a change. I think it will be. The thing is that they actually told us is that every item that you have, those ones, you can put them in there, but you don't have to. And even if you put them in there, you actually don't have to. It will not destroy the original item. So that means that if a new item comes out, I think they will ask you, do you want to put it in? And if so, it will not destroy the original item as far as I know. You can destroy it afterwards, but you don't have to. So I think that's how they will continue with that. But of course, I'm not 100% sure about that. So what do we have here? That's interesting. That's interesting. Should I play Reaper here? I don't know. It seems like it's... Yeah, I think let's go for Reaper. Can you give a tip? What can I use in World vs. World PvP as a thief? I love pistols and rival a lot, but can't find any good build. So if you want to play a ranged thief, then I would definitely go for Deadeye. Deadeye is the only ranged thief out there that works, I would say. So you play rival on Deadeye, and you play in PvP some kind of, let's say, roamer that runs around between the points, tries to outnumber create situations like that. And it's really like they want to focus on killing enemies fast, and if you can't do that, you go back out. It's like you snipe them with a rifle. If you can't kill them in, let's say, 10 seconds, you go to another point and try it there again. That's your playstyle. So hit and run. That's the playstyle, I would say. And there, I can send you after this match the meta build to this. It's actually not that. I would say it's not the best build. It's not I would say top S tier build that you play. But if you like Thief, this is one of the better ones. It's definitely, I would say, B or A tier currently in the meta. So it's a good pick in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, I can't really say if it's true that every city in Germany feels like a like a village other than Berlin, but I feel like Germany doesn't have that much of big cities if you compare to other regions in the world, like the US or even more importantly in, I don't know, Asia. So yes, I think Germany feels more like a town or like a very small town, like villages all the time. Yeah. Oh, he goes in Rampage. Or Tornado it is. Okay, that's not that scary. My team is dead here. I think I have to disengage. That's the sad part. Okay. Is Virtuoso Mirage meta in SPVP? So Mirage is meta, but it's a very hard pick. It's like if you can play that. Oh my god, what is going on? So Mirage is S tier in ranked in almost every single ranked match. I would say if you play Mirage, it's insane how good it is. But it's very hard to play. It's not a build that I would recommend to new players just because it's one of the hardest builds to play right now. But if you can do that, especially in ranked, it's really good. But even in monthly ATs and Mota, for example, it's a really good pick. You will see that. Yeah. Virtuoso, on the other hand, I think it's a safe pick for ranked. It's not like it's not the build what I would say that is really hard to play, and the impact is like good, but not crazy, not like a Mirage if you play it well in a Mirage. They're just zerging us here at this point. So I will just leave the point, I guess. I have to focus on this guy. This guy is really aggressive. I think he plays Greatsword and... No, we got him. You see, this is a Virtuoso, and it's a good pick, it's a good build, but it's not as broken as it once was. It's like you can play it, it's fun to play, it's probably an A-tier build in ranked, but it's not like you will win matches automatically, you know, which is not true for most builds, but Virtuoso is, I would say, you have to play it correctly to make it work a lot. I think this guy's dead now. There we go. And I push close, I guess, because I don't want to run into respawns of all of them. That's always, don't run into respawns. That's if all of them are on respawn, it's a bad choice to run there. And this guy is running into us. That's good. That's what we want. They stole our beast. Oh my god. Do you think after changes, powered DPS Tempest will keep Hammer? I don't think so. I think the idea is to make Tempests not run Hammer. I think the idea is to make Tempests either run another weapon or not be viable as a power DPS anymore. I think they really want to nerf it down. And not make Hammer the optimal choice anymore, at least. Focus on this one. He's so dead. Oh my god, 1%. There we go. Dodge the CC. Classical placement match. Classical placement match. Just CC chaining here, I guess, and CC. Oh, double dodging, okay. Now stomp the Ranger, I guess. Or cleave it now. Why are we losing the whole map? It's actually insane. How can we lose the whole map if I hold the people here? I can't get there, I think, in time. Oh, that was so close. That was close. I play Condi Mirage, and once you get Grasp, it's the most infuriating class. Yeah, I think, especially if I play, for example, if I play Elementalist, it's like so frustrating. It's like insane. Please help me here. Guys. Thanks. Holy shit. Yeah, so if I play Condi, or if I play against the Condi Virtuoso, for example, Condi Mirage, all of those that spike me with confusion, it's horrible. It's really horrible if I play anything that has a lot of attacks, like Elementalist, like Catalyst, all of that. That's insane. It's horrible. It feels so bad because sometimes I can't cleanse the confusion with the next tick, and then I will just die from confusion from passive attacks. Even swapping to water will actually deal damage to me, so it's really bad. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I use Deadeye. Yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone. Don't get me wrong. I can't recommend Deadeye for every player because it feels just it's not as broken as it once was, and even then, if you make it played correctly, it's not crazy anymore. Yeah, but I think it suits the playstyle that you described the most. Is Virtuoso and Mirage still meta? Yeah, I would say so. Mirage is really good. Yeah. What is hard about Mirage specifically? That it's very, you need to use your dodges aggressively because the ambush skills actually provide damage to you, but they also take your dodge away. So that means that your dodge skill is actually, so to say, aggressive and defensive, and then you have to make the decision what is actually the usage that you want to get it in. And that's the difficult part here. To make the decision sometimes to use it aggressively and sometimes to use it defensively. That's the thing what's difficult. Power Vindicator and Fractals I feel like is okay, but it's not that good in my opinion because it lacks CC and it's just, you can play it, but all the other DPSs like Dragon Hunter, Soul Beast, they have better burst and they have CC. So it's like they are just superior in every way. That's the problem. If you like Vindicator, go for it. It's not a bad pick by any means, but it's a pick that I would say is not, let's say, top tier because for multiple reasons. Yeah. Oh my god, this guy's just spamming evades at this point. And yeah, that's classical Virtuoso. Invuln, evade. That's how you play Virtuoso, I guess. How bad is the win trading problem? I think it's there, but it's not like insane. It's like if you want to get to top leaderboard spots, it's annoying. But if you play it in some kind of, that's the confusion spite that I was talking about. But this is a power mirror, so I'm fine with it. So in EU, if you go into, let's say, top 10, maybe it happens, but if you're below that, it's not, it doesn't matter that much. Keep that in mind. It's just like, again invulnerable. What the fuck? This is so annoying. Okay, there are not two people here. That's a little bit annoying. I just have to focus on one, I guess. Okay, we get this guy. We'll just cleave him down if the ranger doesn't help here. This is not a particularly good player, I have to be honest, I'm sorry. It's fine, we won the match anyway. I have on my YouTube channel, if you scroll down, I actually have a YouTube build guide about the Mirage meta build. Or you can just type !builds and I have a spreadsheet where this is listed as well. !builds in the Twitch chat actually works as well. You can actually check out all my builds that I have released. Yeah, I mean, depends. I will do it on stream with you, Amen. So if you are if you're ready when I stream, then we can go for the strike missions. Yep, exactly. What's the best game mode for grinding skills to improve at the game? I think you should start out with PvE, just because PvE is easier to play. And get slowly try to learn, get better at the class and that kind of stuff. But if you want to, let's say, get really try hard, then I think PvP is the best way to actually improve at the game and understand how the game works. That's the sad truth. Yeah. Are you ready? Perfectly. Then I will set up the squad. Give me a second. You can just type, just join my squad. Or you can let me know how your account name is, and then I can invite you. So if you're not a pure PvP player, would World vs. World be a compromise for me? Or is there other PvE content that offers a similar thing? Yeah, that's the... Are you in the guild? Yeah, okay. Are you? Yeah, don't worry. You just play. Do you know how to get here? That's the important part. Do you know how to get to Eye of the North? Because that's where you actually need to be. So if you are in Eye of the North, you can join. But if you're not, then it's a problem. So if you were here already, you can do that. So here, Eye of the North, there is a portal thing that gets you there. Yeah, you can also port to me with, for example, a teleport to friend if you want to, or you can also use the portal tome here. That gets you there. But you have to be in my party, I think, at this point. So which one of those are you? Then I can invite you. How do you feel the queues for SPVP in EU? I think it's like 5 minutes all the time. It's like 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, you can port to me. Yes, you can do that. I mean, I can also invite you to the strike missions. Don't worry. You can join. I will try to get you through. Yeah, we can try that. Yeah. And so the answer is, in my opinion, PvE is the best starting place to actually learn and get better at the game, because it's just slowly improving you. Ah, sweet Michael. Okay, then I will invite you. There we go. Yeah, 3 to 5 minutes, it's not too bad. It's really not too bad. But the thing that is bad, and that's what I don't like about it, is that even after 3 to 5 minutes, which is not the shortest amount of time to wait for a queue pop, it's like you don't get crazy good matches. That's the problem. Sometimes you have a platinum player playing against a silver player. And not sometimes, quite regularly. And that is just not fun for any player involved. That's the problem. Yeah, I can invite you, sure. And Frozen, do you want to join right now the thing as well? The strike mission run? We can get that. So do I use any special keyboard? No. So literally, that's an interesting question. I use the 6 to 0 keybinds I have on my MMO mouse. So my keybinds are like the default keybinds because I use an MMO mouse to actually make it work. Yeah. So that's why the keybinds are looking like this. Don't worry. It's not like I have a crazy keyboard or crazy big hands or something. No. I have that on my mouse, those buttons. And so I can activate them really fast, and I can, so to say, make it working in most situations. Yes. Nice, you made it. Perfect. Very good. Yeah, I don't know. I have not played Valorant. I don't know if it's high or low. If you have 2 to 3 minute queue times, I think the thing is you have way better match quality. That's the difference, because it's like in Guild Wars, it's like if you have matches that are below, let's say, 3 minutes in the queue time, you actually have a decent match. But if you have a queue time that is over 5 minutes, the matchmaker actually increases the amount of people that might be matched with you by, let's say, we don't care, we put anyone in the match with you. That's like, I don't know, you put the highest league with the lowest league just to make a match work. That's the problem. It's not the queue time at all. Yeah, I agree. That's good. So Frozen, if you want to join this, or if you're ready, we can actually join the run as well if you want to. But if you don't need to, we can fill the roles otherwise as well. How long does it take to get to endgame gear for PvP if I start the game right now? So the interesting thing, XNT, is that you can just you start the game, do the first mission, that's like 10 minutes, not even, and you can go into PvP if you buy the game. I'm not joking. You can get into the highest, you can just join PvP. If you bought the game, if you're not playing on free trial version, you can enter the lobby and can join PvP on the first day in the first hour. I'm not joking. That's possible in Guild Wars 2. So if you want to get that, because the gear in PvP is like equalized. Everyone has the same gear. Even players that never played Guild Wars 2 before, everyone has the same gear. So that's the cool part. Guild Wars 2 is like just giving you everything for free. Yeah, that's true. You need some amount of, maybe some money if you want to get the weapons. Let's 20 silver or something, but that's probably enough that you will get that in the first hour as well. Just play something. You get a free weapon for leveling your character as well. So you will get the gear to equip. You know, you don't need high level gear. Everything is equalized, but you need to have something in your hand to actually use. Yeah, that's really nice. I think that's the best selling point of Guild Wars 2 PvP is that everyone can play it. You don't have to play. You don't have to have the MMO mindset or MMO player in there. You can just go there and play for the cool gameplay. You don't need to grind any gear. Okay. So I will just look for players now. If Frozen doesn't want to join, that's fine. And we can see what we can make work. Ah, you whispered me? Nice. Nice. There we go. Then you are in the squad as well. So I don't know what you want to play. I will just put you both to DPS and you can fill the role, so to say. Just play whatever you want. Fill? Okay. One second. We will do all strike missions. We will do Iceblood Saga 5 strike missions. So that's 5 strike missions in a row that all take like 2 to 3 minutes. It's really very short, very easy to play. Just try to not die and you will be fine. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. We will get you through. Of course, it's better to run the perfect build setup that I have on my YouTube guides and stuff, but it's not like completely changing. We will see. Hopefully it can work. You know, I think at Bone Skinner you might die, but that's okay. That happens to the best. One second, I have to set it up. BDPS stands for Boon DPS, so that means that I don't care if it's alacrity or quickness. or I can swap that around. So now we got an alacrity DPS, so I swap to quickness, and we have the roles covered. So we have quickness and alacrity in my subgroup, and all subgroups for that matter actually, and now we can just look for DPS. That's how we do it. So it's not like specifically, oh my god, it's a specific thing that we have to get for our group. You can just, we don't care. Everyone that actually provides a boon, like quickness or alacrity, is fine. I'm on EU. Yes, that's correct. That's correct. So if you're a new player and have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer those. Or even if you're a veteran, I'm always happy to have some discussion going on stream. And if you don't know, I have also a YouTube channel. I have a lot of good guides for Guild Wars, but I also have some debate content there. So always be sure to check that out if you haven't already. It's really, I try to make good content and keep the Guild Wars 2 community alive, so to say, in terms of content creation. And I really hope that the next patch will actually help us as well to get that, keep that going. So let's see. Hopefully we can get the, I will not explain every single mechanic here. So I will just explain the stuff that comes up that I can tell you here, but for the most part, just try to stay on my character and you will be fine. I try to heal you, just try to deal DPS, and that's about it. The strike missions are really easy. Good and easy world versus class, world class, which fits in every circ. Oh, come on, that's unblockable. Yeah, so I would say personally, Scourge. After the patch, Scourge is insane. Scourge is like absolutely crazy good after the patch. I think for supporting in every circ, that's the way that I would do it. Yeah. Yeah, this, you don't have to do it. You can teleport to it after I got up there, so don't worry. If I don't fail the jumping puzzle here. Let's see. There we go, I made it. So you can use the teleport beacon that just unlocked, and you can teleport up to me. Yes, that's Iceblood Saga's 5 strike missions that we are doing, correct. Yeah, I think Julie is correct. I think it's actually, personally, I think Necromancer is a really good class right now in competitive modes. It's just very, very good. It fills so many roles in PvP and World vs. World that it's just, you play that one and you will be fine. That's how I see it. Yeah. So you can go to your map and go to this teleport beacon. That's just this thing here, and you can teleport up here. You know, just go here. You don't have to do the parkour yourself. You can teleport up here and you will actually skip that part. Yes, like you just did perfectly. Just double click and you will teleport there. Okay, exactly. And as soon as everyone is ready, or you do it yourself, whatever you like, and then we wait for the ready check. So if you press ready, you made it, very good. Just press ready, and then we can engage the boss fight. Always wait for the ready check to come through. Never engage before that, please. That's really important. I'm not playing Minstrel. I'm playing Harrier. Please, please, please do the ready check. So if you press P, then you can actually get to the ready check frozen. There is some I'm ready, and you can actually accept it. Or press on top of your raids. Exactly, you found it. Very good. Now we can engage the boss because everyone is ready. And we will just kill it. This one is just a golem. Nothing happens. Yeah, I'm playing Harrier because I don't need the tankiness. It's completely irrelevant. Just having a little bit more DPS and easier time for my group, that's the way to go. Harrier is like in 90% of cases in PvE the best choice for Chronomancer. Minstrel or Givers and that kind of stuff, it's only useful if you really need to tank, if you have crazy amounts of damage coming. It's not usually the case. There are like 5 raid bosses, which is actually the case where you should take that. Yeah. I think I won't do the Wizard's Tower stuff today. Sorry, Intense. I think I will do that at the start of the week typically, because I only do those once a week. I don't like those strike missions that much. I feel like they are really boring. they take forever and they are not fun, so I don't do them. But we will do them next week. So maybe if you're there next week, we will do them on stream. Don't worry. And you can join, of course. Chrono is still pretty troll in SPVP? No, not at all. It's currently one of the best supporters right now. It's actually very fun. With the introduction of the second to last expansion, it was actually the prime target for support. It was the best supporter that we got actually. Don't worry, we do more strike missions. It's just one that we did. We do 4 more. So please stay. Please stay. So we will do the bears now. I do givers because Chrono has almost no base damage for heroes to take advantage of. I mean, you can go for givers, but the problem is why I don't like that is that you are instantly the tank in all cases, and you don't want to be the tank all the time. That's the thing that I want to make clear here. If you don't want to be the tank, go for full Harriers. If you go for DPS Chrono, yeah, DPS Chrono is dead. DPS Chrono is not working. That's true. You can maybe go for some Condi Chronomancer. That's about it. But power, it's completely done. It's not good. You only play power if you want to play Mirage. Mirage is the only thing that works with power. Or power Virtuoso, but not power Chrono in PvP, yes. I agree. Chronomancer is not like absolutely insane with Harrier's gear, but for some fractals and stuff, you need it. It's actually necessary. You can't go for Giver or Minstrel in fractals if you go for CMs. So keep that in mind. Because there are some times where you actually want to kill the enemies and are you on your own, so you don't have any allies around you, so you need to do the damage yourself. I just watched your Spear Power Herald YouTube video on stream the other day, and today I see you on Twitch. Very nice. That's what we want to see. Glad you came. I hope you enjoy my content. I really liked the DPS Chrono when it was meta in competitive modes, but it's not. It's not anymore. It's really like it's a build that is completely fallen out of favor, and I'm not talking about a little bit. It's completely gone. It's just completely power crept by all the other DPS specs. That's the sad truth. It's like a full support role nowadays. You play with Rival and Spear typically, and it's a really good support. But if you don't like support, then don't go for Chronomancer. Yes. Oh no, don't get bullied by anyone. That's not good. So always try to stick on the commander. Very good. Just to make sure that we all stack up here and get all the nice boons, and you don't have to move at all for the most part, and you just DPS. It's really, those strike missions are like, you know, if you have a support that knows what they are doing, it's like completely irrelevant. You can ignore all the mechanics. I'm not joking. All the mechanics of the bosses, you can just ignore them. Yeah. How to make them respect me? I mean, just prove to them that you are actually a very good player. That's, you know, just prove it, and then they can't bully you anymore. You know, that's how I do it. Was very helpful, but I still stuck at Ref. I have about 9k hours on Elementalist, but maybe 10 hours on Ref. I mean, slowly learn it. Don't worry, you will get there. You will get there. So I guess we will do the Whisper. We are slowly increasing the difficulty here. Whisper is not too bad anyway, but still. You teach them bad habits? What do you mean? I mean, I try to teach them how to do it, you know, do it correctly, ignoring mechanics while the support carries you. That's how you do it. If you have a bad support that doesn't let you ignore mechanics, then flame the support. That's how you do it. If you die in a strike mission, flame the healer. You know, that's how it goes. You can't enter? Oh, that's why? Probably because you don't have that. Probably because you don't have the, how's it called? Then we will just do it 8-man, I guess. I haven't played Guild Wars 1 actually. I wanted to, but I actually never found the time because I'm actually quite busy currently creating content. Brain usage, very helpful. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Actually, you made it. You made it. Nice. I mean, then you should actually be able to enter, yeah. You did it anyway. Yeah, very good. I feel like Power Circle is also dead. You can play it, but it falls behind. Yeah, I feel like it's not as good anymore. I feel like Power Berserker with Rival is actually not that bad, but it's almost like a meme. Sadly, you have to do it again. So, but I feel like if you play ranked, you can make anything playable. I think you even if I play ranked and I play, for example, Power Chronomancer, it actually wouldn't be too bad. I'm not joking. I think you can make it work. And the same goes for Power Rival Berserker. I think it's not the best pick, don't get me wrong, but it's a pick that might work. It's not really like completely garbage. It's actually okay. You can kill enemy players quite easily if you know what you're doing, and if you don't die too fast, you actually deliver value to your party. I wouldn't say it's a crazy carry build, but it's a very fun build to play, and you can still play it. But I would not go, for example, for I don't know, some really setup that is really made for one-on-ones and stuff. You really have to go into team fight and kill and one-shot people. That's how to play it. Yeah. Do you also have experience delay after you press abilities, especially in PvP and World vs. World? I have no idea what to. It takes like 6 activation abilities to cast. That's crazy. No, I don't have that. For me, it's always everything works perfectly. I have like 20 ping and almost no server delay, so should not actually happen to me. And I don't know what happens to you then. Maybe it's your internet issue or something like that, but I don't know. Maybe I really don't know. Be careful, don't stand in the enemy's hitbox. If you stand in the enemy's hitbox here, you might die because there are some chains happening, and those chains actually deal a lot of damage. I can't heal through that. Try to rescue, but so see those chains here I showcase on stream right now, those are really deadly. So try to not stand in those. Always stand close to the boss, but not in the boss hitbox. I'm so happy for the upcoming patch though. I've been doing Aura Tempest heal in PvE with my friends for years now, and now it's finally going to be, yeah, I'm really happy about that one as well. I think that's the biggest winner of the patch is Elementalist, and I think the Aura thing is actually really, really good for sure. So I'm happy to try it out after the patch as well. And I think it will be really good. You don't have to overload ever. You can, but you don't have to. That's really good. That makes a good support build. Because support build should never be like, you have to do a rotation, because then you can't react to stuff happening. At least not that easily. And if you can do that with just pressing a few buttons and provide your alacrity that way without overloading, it's really good. What specs do you think is completely garbage in SPVP and just not playable unless you're trolling on purpose? It's Scourge and Mechanist, in my opinion. Those two are like, people in silver tier or bronze tier actually play those and think they are good specs, but it's not. They are really, really bad. They nerfed it so much, it's just not playable. It's like really, really bad, which is okay. You know, not every spec has to be absolutely broken, but those are like insanely bad. Don't play them. It's really recommend, don't play Scourge or Mechanist. Yes. Nice, we actually made it. No one died so far. That's very good. So please stand here. Here you have to split a lot, because if you don't do it, you will actually get hit by the orbs. The boss is bugged, so okay. I guess it doesn't do the orbs this time. This is one of the most buggy bosses ever. So we actually killed it in a good time for that we have so many new players. Very good, you did it. How far, in your opinion, Heal Scourge would work in Fractals? I see Celestial or Viper once used, but not pure healing support ones. I mean, you can play, even the pure healing support ones actually are decent. But, and that's the important part, I would only run those if you have a somewhat mediocre group, not a very good group. Because as soon as you have a very good group, they expect you to provide stability. They expect you to actually needs mastery. Okay. You need the master for the old chests, yes. Yeah, so I think Scourge is actually decent. I would say after the patch, it actually gets a decent spot and it would probably be worthwhile to run as a support in most fractal groups. But I feel like it still has the issue that it can't provide every single utility that a Chronomancer or a Firebrand can do. It will still be worse than a Firebrand or a Chronomancer, but I think they're definitely good. And I agree that you can easily run them as some kind of elect DPS or celestial version for hybrid healer. Yes, that works as well, Filthy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Like Habli puts it. It's like you can play it. It works decently, but people, especially the higher end amount of experienced people, will not like it. They will not like that you actually play something that is inferior to Guardian or Mesmer. That's just sadly the truth. That's how it works. I think in strike missions and raids, it's not as strict, but in fractals, people are really like, if you don't provide the boons like Aegis, stability, and do all the mechanics for them, they are really horrible. Yeah. They are really like, they want to have the most amount of utility and least amount of mechanics they have to do. And that's just provided by Chronomancer and Guardian. That's just the truth here. Sidestep, please. I can't heal you through that. Yeah. This is the attack that kills like everyone because it's one-shotting you and you have to sidestep it every single time. Don't worry. Happens to a lot of people. We almost got the CC. I tried my best. Always stack here. It's really important that we stack on top of each other so that you get the healing here, that you get the blocks and H's and just passive stability and stuff that I provide. It's really important that you do that. If you don't, I can't heal you. Sidestep again. Very good. So this fight is not hard. You just have to sidestep the mechanics every time. You are always running like this around. It's like really, you don't have to dodge this fight for the most part. You can just stand on me and you will get all the healing and all the damage and everything. Good pull from the Scourge. I like it. But sadly, we were not enough people to actually use it. It's fine. We will kill this boss anyway. We just need some time. It will get quite painful at the end because the healing increases quite a bit. So we get a lot of damage that we need to take and need to tank without dying to it. But I think it will be fine. I will probably be... Holy shit, guys. Please don't stand in the hitbox of this attack. I can't overheal everything. And always stack on me. If you don't stack on me, I can't heal you. That's just straight up the case. Can get the rest here. Stand on me, it's really important. Sidestep. Wasn't the cleanest run, I would say, so far. But we will still get it done, I guess. I will catch up in chat after this. Just let me try to support the group here. There we go. We did it. Good job. Good job. Only one died. That's not that bad. I hope you get to know this boss a bit more because it's actually one of my favorite Iceblood Saga missions, strike bosses. It's actually not that bad. I have the same experience as you. I'm located in Japan, ping of 300 or more and potato PC, so I can't fault the game too much. Okay. I mean, if it's like the ping is bad and your PC doesn't have the hardware to provide that, then obviously it's not a good thing. Yeah. So the last one is the Frania. I feel like that's a big mess set. A lot of mechanics can just be mitigated by H's and Stability, I really dislike it personally. Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's not how it should be from a design perspective. I think from a design perspective, it should be that you have to do the mechanics, that there is some way to actually do the mechanics correctly. And if you fail them, you have to redo the fight. But I don't like mechanics that instantly kill you. I like to have a mechanic that you can do in different ways, but cheesing mechanics with stability and H's all the time so that the DPS players just like Unga Bunga the boss, I don't like that as well. I think that's something that I would agree with. But I don't like mechanics where where you are forced to do some kind of puzzle mechanic that's just randomly on there and you have to do it and it's no way other than just solving the puzzle in a specific way. I like to have some kind of solving, that you solve the way in a specific way, that you like it, that your party likes it, but you don't go actually. You can either by relogging, so you go back out, so you go out to your character select screen and go back in, or you can, I think that works as well, you can open your inventory and go to your wallet and hover over the spirit charts and you can close it and then it should open back up. I think that's a really weird bug. I think that works. If you listen to the stream, you should actually see that. But just relogging, just pressing F12 and going to your character select and logging back in, it should work then again. Yes, you made it. Very good. Yeah, the only fight that works perfectly as intended is 99, I agree. And this one is just, it feels very slow. That's what I don't like about this one, but at least it works like intended, I guess. Could be more fun, I guess, if they intended it correctly. I'm asking because when I looked at SC websites, Scorch have 1 point in terms of how hard it is to get hold of, but Chrono or Heal Firebrand jumps a lot higher. Yeah, because they have more flexibility. That's the thing. I swap my utilities and stuff around all the time. And on Scourge, you typically don't need to do that, or you can't do it for some extent as well. So it's like, Scourge is like easy to learn, easy to get into, and actually also quite nice to carry in strikes and raid missions for the most part. But in Fractals, it's like you really bring your party down just by playing Scourge. That's the sad truth. It works in some Fractals like 99 and to some extent also 98. Those two, it works actually okay. But in especially Nightmare and Arc, so Shattered Observatory, those are really like, don't play it there. And for most tier 4 fractals, it's the same, because those are like, there are a lot of annoying things happening in those fractals, and you can negate them with H's, stability, and that kind of stuff, even reflects a lot of the times. And all of that Scourge doesn't have access to, or at least not that frequent. And that's a problem. That's why it's not that good in fractals. In strike missions and raids, it's more like you have to do mechanics. You have to actually engage with, to stand at a spot and stuff to actually clear the mechanic. In Fractals, it's like you ignore the mechanic with stability and H's. That's how it works. So I hope that makes it clear, Filthy. Yeah. Which expansion did you like the most at the time of its release? That was easy. That's Heart of Thorns. I think Heart of Thorns, because it provided so much new stuff like elite specs, it provided raids, it provided just the first time that we ever got anything that is actually other than living world updates. It was a really good experience back then. And I just had a lot of fun. The maps are crazy good. I still play them to this day. It's really fun. So I think they are my favorite maps from the expansions, I would say. And they are just very nostalgic at the best. Yeah. I'm not sure if everyone would agree with that, but at the time, I think that was my favorite expansion for sure. Yeah. Did warrior banners used to be able to be picked up and used as a weapon? Yes, in the very early days we had stuff like that, but nowadays warrior banners are like not that good. I think we did all of them, didn't we? Yeah, I think we are through. We did all of them. So very good. Good job, we did it. No problem, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, we can do Dragon Stand as well after that if you want to stay. If you want to go call in, yeah, we can go for Dragon Stand. Yeah, so if you want to join, you can do that. But Dragon Stand is a little bit harder to play, so It's not too, I mean, not harder, but it's like you should actually help a bit. Okay, so what do we need? We have, I think, no supports, so we need the supports again for Dragon's Stand. Okay. No, they don't have to stay. If you don't want to, it's fine. We find someone else. So if you already did Dragon Stand, we don't have to do it. There are always people that do Dragon Stand, so don't worry. Quick DPS, very good. No problem, Eamon, no problem. Sitting here trying to not to correct just by saying Dragon Storm. I'm sorry. That's my mistake. Correct, obviously it's Dragon Storm. Dragon Storm, not Dragon Stand. There are so many dragon things, you know, Dragon's End, Dragon Storm, Dragon Stand. It's like you confuse even veterans like me. I just say DS and I do it every single day, you know. I don't even look at the screen anymore how it's called. Dragon Watch, yeah, it's too much at this point. I don't care anymore, you know. Yeah. What's the worst expansion? Oh, that's a more tough question. So I did an expansion tier list a while ago. And I rated, I think, the newest one, Chantia Wilds, with some kind of asterisk because it was not out there with every single thing. It's to be honest, so I would say Heart of Thorns and End of Dragons for me are definitely not the worst. Those two I actually think quite good. Path of Fire, on the other hand, is like, it has a decent story and it has very beautiful maps, but I don't like the replayability of it. So I would say for me, Path of Fire was the worst of those really fleshed out expansions that are like, you know, 2-year or even longer cycle. I think this is definitely the worst. But Chantia Wilds and Soto are definitely less good than Path of Fire because they are just smaller. So I personally think it's between those two, which is the worst one. I personally think at this point, the maps in Soto are not as good as I would say as the map in Chantia Wilds, but I like the longevity of Soto more. You know, you have the legendary armor that you can grind, you have at least some meta events, which you don't have at all in Chantia Wilds right now. I personally think both of them are they are a big step down. They are a big step down from the Heart of Fire, Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, End of Dragons expansions. I really don't want to judge which one of those are worse. I don't really want to say. I think they are both not that good. Don't get me wrong. It's still worth getting them. They deliver a lot of content. They have a lot of useful stuff like the spear, like getting new masteries, and even gave us Wizard's Vault and stuff. So it's not like this is like it's a bad expansion by any means. But it's definitely, in my opinion, worse than all the others. I'm pretty sure. So I can't really decide which one is the worst one. I rate Soto higher than Chantia Wilds just because, yeah, I agree. Because of the feature that it brought us. I think that the Wizard's Vault is insane, so that's a good reason why you would put Soto higher. But the thing is, I think you, as far as I know, you don't have to have Soto to have the Wizard's Vault. So the thing is that you can get the Wizard's Vault now by buying Heart of Thorns, because it's baseline in the game. So that's why I would say it's not a feature in that way that is bundled to the expansion. And it's a normal game feature, like Sidewinder says. And that's, in my opinion, that makes the expansion, so to say, stand alone. Yeah. So it came with Soto. Yes, that makes it better, but it doesn't really, it's not like Soto actually is the thing to buy to get the Wizard's World. So I don't know. I feel like both of them have their positives and a lot of negatives. That's the sad truth, I guess. Yeah. Dragons found their end within the storm because they couldn't stand. It's tough being a dragon. Yeah, something like that, yeah. POF was the weakest for me in terms of story, but people rated high because of mounts. Yeah, I feel a lot of people really like the mounts in Path of Fire. I think the elite specs were the thing that actually broke PvP back then. I think PvP was the reason when there was bunk, when there was like crazy amounts of power creep with the expansion elite specs back then. So I think that was like when PvP and World vs. World really broke down. But I think it's definitely still better than Soto and Chantia Wilds because it provided so much content, it provided mounts, even if the story is not for you and the maps are not replayable at all. I still think they are quite beautiful, and the mounts are just the best mounts in any game, I would say, before WoW copied the stuff, I guess. But I still think it's very worthwhile. Yeah, Path of Fire, definitely a good one, even if it's not the best. I would say, at least. Soto's main feature that has impact on the rest of the game is the unlocked elite specialization weapons. Yeah, I think that's definitely the biggest selling point for a lot of people, because you actually can use, for example, I don't know, a hammer on Elementalist on Weaver, for example, something like that. Yeah, I agree. But, and that's the important part here, I personally think they should not have done that. That might be a hot take, but I don't think that's a good idea. I really like the idea of having balancing in terms of that if you wanted to play a short bow on a Revenant, you had to go for, how is it called, Renegade. I think that was a nice balancing, because then that means that you can make the short bow a really good weapon, and you get Renegade, you have to go Renegade to choose it. Now it's like you have short bow as a weapon. If it's really good, every condition or ranged Renegade or Revenant user uses this weapon. I think that's less interesting in terms of build crafting. That's my take. Yeah. But I agree with you, that is obviously a very big selling point of the expansion. Yeah. Welcome, Fexo. Welcome, welcome. It's crazy to think that Heart of Thorns release had people doing 40k DPS. It must have been wild. Yeah, it actually is insane. That it's like the power creep over the years. Actually, today I talk about it. You know, I have a YouTube video coming up today, releasing today, just in a few hours, where I talk about the power creep, how it developed. And this is one of the biggest criticisms I have, that the power creep, 2 fire, 3 ice, that it developed so badly. Yeah, that it was crazy power creep over the years. That's the insane part here. I think not everyone would agree that this is a good or bad thing, but I would say it's definitely just objectively true how much power creep we got with each expansion. Yeah. Welcome, Scorion. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well as well. Today is a nice Saturday, just some relaxing stream today, having some fun on the weekend. POF was amazing for me, purely because of Balthasar. I was a big fan of him as an antagonist. Yeah, like I said, I think the story in Path of Fire actually enjoyed the storytelling. Not only Path of Fire itself, but also the Living World Season 4. I think the Living World Season 4 was one of the best storytelling they ever did. Sadly, it was a little bit rushed at the end, it felt. But the storytelling of Choco and even Balthasar as well, it was just very, very well done, I think. What was considered good DPS during the core game? So in the core game, when we only, let's say, had the Guild Wars 2 for a year or something, we didn't even have DPS meters, at least not legal ones. And back then it was also like, we had like dungeons as the only content that really needed DPS. Everything else didn't work at all. We don't need damage for open world and stuff. So you would only look at dungeons, and you had 5-person dungeons back then, obviously. And that means that you had like very, very, very strict compositions that you needed to run. And back then, those compositions were like, we don't even know, to this date, we don't know if it actually was the best composition that we did run there, because no one could prove that this is actually the only one that works, you know, or the best one that works. Back then, we run like COF farm, so COF part 1, that was Citadel of Flame. You were running like 4 warriors and 1 Mesmer back then. And those were running Greatsword, the warriors, and the Mesmer was used for the focus pull and the reflect. It was really weird times, but that's how it was. Welcome, Snowdrop, welcome. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant, Filthy. That you have just you are forced to run a weapon because it's the best Condi weapon. It's not like you design your spec around playing, for example, Weaver because you gain access to the sword. No, if the sword is really good, you use it on every single spec, and that's a little bit sad. It just makes the power creep worse and the build crafting less. That's the truth, yeah. How is Holosmith performing PvP? I would say it's an B tier or low A tier build. It works, but it's not crazy good. It's like a build that I would say is fun to play, it's decent, but it gets power creep by some other builds that are currently in the meta. That's just how Engineer in general is in competitive modes, in PvP at least. Thanks for the Prime, Scuff. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your support. I rank Greatsword XX Warrior in vanilla with full Ruby Orbs in my exotic gear. Exactly. That's what I think every warrior that actually did at least play the game to some extent, wanted to farm some gold, was playing this build. Like full Berserker gear, full Ruby Orbs, full aggressive with Greatsword, and you had no healer or something that didn't exist back then. So that's how it was played. And it was fun, but it was at some point also quite boring, because I think nowadays we would have a completely different meta in dungeons, or we do have a different meta in dungeons. And I'm not sure if back then we actually already would have a different meta as well, or if it's just people thinking this is the meta. Yeah, I don't know. We probably never know. We cannot go back to this. Yeah, big energy. Yeah. I mean, people just ask what the meta was back then, and I mean that was the meta: 4 warriors and 1 Mesmer. And if you saw Necromancer or a Ranger, you were just running, you know. It was like you instantly blocked them if someone actually played those 2 classes. It was like absolutely insane how people actually disliked those. Yeah. Yeah, glad you enjoy my guides. Glad you enjoy them. In 2014, Tickwaddle and Triple Double were cared about DPS, but that just means we suggested bringing circle gear. Yeah, I agree. Of course, that was back then. I think in 2014 it slowly started to develop some kind of meta. I think before then it was like people were just playing for fun. 2012, even 2013, it was not really like there is some crazy DPS meta going on. We just played Warrior and Mesmer because that seemed like the best fit together, I guess. Yeah, maybe Engie will be really good after the patch. We don't know. We will see how it works. We have to see how it turns out, if Engineer will really be that broken. Yeah. Nice, you have the old clips. Yeah, I mean, it would be really fun to watch them, I guess, at some point for the newer players here that didn't never do it. I think that's actually an interesting experience to see how it actually turns out, how you played back then and how different the game looked. Yeah, because back then it was definitely like not recognizable. Yeah, at least for the players that only played today. Nice snowdrops, very nice. Thanks a lot. 4 months of watching Summer, enjoying Dragonstorm purely for lore reasons. This man is beyond help. Subscribe to save him. Exactly. You know, I mean, just I can't get enough of those dragons smashing each other's heads or puking or whatever. In that, it's just I have to see it every day. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. For the support. 4 months already. Nice. Yeah, it was toxic. It was toxic that you just blocked or that you just didn't want to play with people because they played a different class. It was toxic, I agree. But the problem was, I think back then, people that played Ranger, people that played Necromancer for the most part, played builds that were just inferior to Warrior. Just straight up, you know, it's like, it doesn't matter what kind of Warrior you played. For the most part, the Greatsword one is just better. You know, if you had a Longbow Ranger with a Bear, it's just impossible, yeah? That's the thing. If you have 4 DPS Longbow Rangers, the dungeon would like take 1 hour instead of 5 minutes. I'm not joking. It's insane. So yeah, that was just back then. People were really scared of people that were not experienced and played a class just because of the lore. And yeah, that's just how it goes, I guess. Meta develops at some point. Yeah. Do you know a way to make Power Renegade work with Shortbow? It's my favorite weapon, but I don't want to play it on Condi. The problem is Shortbow is really like, it works in competitive modes as a power build because you have the spike on the 2 and the 3 skill. But in PvE, it's just very bad. You can play it with a Berserker Renegade, Berserker, even Vindicator, you could play it, but it's like a big DPS downgrade in terms of Greatsword in comparison to Greatsword or Sword. That's just the sad truth, yeah. But you could play it, just play it there, yeah. One second. Yeah. Honestly, I think Rangers were just hated for using Longbow 4 when a warrior used Greatsword 2. Yeah, I guess that's also true, that people could use the knockback of the Longbow and you would have just lose all your DPS because it was like you really nicely, got all the DPS that you wanted to have in one spot and every enemy was standing there and you really clumped them on one spot and the Rangers just knocked them away and you lost all your DPS. I think that's true. That's a problem. I think actually all the classes, if you played them with Berserker gear and the power scaling weapon, I think all of them would have worked. It's not like that was like completely unkillable. It just feels like that people that played Longbow on a Ranger did not know how to do it and they were grieving. That's why you blocked all the people that played as a Ranger. That's the thing. People that actually understood how to work it. Nice. Thanks for the bits. Really appreciate it. A nice saxophone. Very nice. For the guide, hopefully I shall one day master the Revenant. Nice. Yeah, you will do. Don't worry. We'll get there. And I can also try to show it on stream as well. Don't worry. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Nike versus Nemesis, the big debate. That was fun. Yeah, I agree. Fun times back then. Yeah. With regards to power creep, I think all MMOs suffer from it. But the difference with Guild Wars 2 is that it's 100% horizontal. So even though Guild Wars 2 has been keeping power creep low, over time it made a huge difference, the older content. Yeah, I like I said, I will release I'm not joking, I prepared this video even though we didn't know that we talk about today on stream about this. I have a video prepared that comes out today talking about this power creep and why it is so bad in Guild Wars 2 right now, the power creep that we have, because it's horizontal and it completely annihilates old content. Like even, for example, easier raids, so to say, the earlier raids like Veil Guardian, are completely power crept just because of how much damage and how much healing and how much support we can put out right now. It's crazy. So yes, we have power creep in Final Fantasy and World of Warcraft because they get better gear, they get a higher level, but they anticipate that. So the old content can be done solo at some point, even though it was like a 10-person raid at some point. But in Guild Wars 2, that is not the case. So the content is still, let's say, valued as it would be a 10-person raid, but it's way easier to do than a wing raid, for example, just because of the power damage that or the damage or the healing and whatever that is, just currently the power creep. It's insane. So I think power creep in Guild Wars 2 might be less than if you had a new gears level, but it is more impactful even on that lower level. That's my analysis of this. Yeah. I'm a bit afraid what will happen after Chantia update. Will the game be maintenance mode and die? I don't think so. So don't worry. There will be an expansion in October and we will get at least one more year of content. That much we know. After that, I would say the game will still run for another year or 2 or 3 or 5. I think the game will not die before 2030. Don't worry. So if you're a new player, don't worry. I'm just saying that the content that we get will not be as high as Heart of Thorns or Path of Fire content. That's just the truth here. Yeah. But that doesn't mean the game is bad or dying, not at all. So keep that in mind. Next expansion in October is with at least 1 year of content story, but then it will probably go into maintenance mode, as they've said it's the last. I think they didn't say it. Sidewinder, I'm pretty sure they didn't say it. That's just like people like Silhouette Gaming, me, Teapot, we all think it's actually the last. It's just the community, the content creators that think that it's the last. But it's not confirmed by any means. That doesn't mean it's true. It's just our educated guess at this point. So please don't take that with a grain of salt, especially if you're a new player. I played the game for over 10k hours. So that means that, is it worth to get it? Yes, very much so. Even if the game is, let's say, not getting a new expansion in 2028 anymore, that doesn't mean the game is dead. Not at all. There is so much content to do, so much fun stuff to get. Please play the game if you are enjoying what you're seeing on my stream, on my YouTube content and stuff. Please play the game. Never listen to people that say the game is dying, it's dead. It's not true. You can play the game. Every single game mode actually is somewhat alive. It's not like it's crazy in terms of how many people play PvP, for example, or raid, but it's at least playable. Every single content can be done. Don't worry about it. It's really important. I really want to stress that. Also, you can theoretically experience a version of the fight from back then in Final Fantasy. Exactly. I know that because I played a bit, and I think I know that this is the case, that you can actually go back to the so to say, downscaled content. And in Guild Wars 2, you can't do that. You can't say, I will just play without any POF and specs and that kind of stuff. That's just not possible, because the power creep for the weapons, for the traits that you have, they will still be there. You can't go back to a, let's say, alacrity not being a boon, stuff like that. You can't go back to that. So that's the thing that matters here. Definitely, yeah. Welcome, Dubstep. Welcome. Thanks for the follow, Blessed Big Boy. Really appreciate it. Do you think there's any healthy way to reduce the DPS ceiling though? I feel like if they rebalance and reduce the maximum DPS to 25 to 30k, the 0.01% of players who actually do benchmark DPS will rebel extremely loudly. I think the problem is if you reduce the overall damage, then that means that the, let's say, casual player will also deal less DPS. You can't make it so that the really high level builds deal less damage, because then it's just like the normal builds will also do less damage. I think there is not a real good way to make the DPS ceiling lower without hurting everyone. That's the problem. And I feel like not only the tryhards would actually be sad about not having it as much DPS, but also the casual audience. Why? Because the casual audience will have probably more difficulty clearing content than before. You know, it's just harder to clear content when you have more time in the boss where you can do more mistakes. So I would say, yes, in my opinion, the DPS should be lower. I think an ideal way would be like something like 30k as a DPS, something like that, so that the fights actually take a decent amount of time. Something like that should actually be the actual way how to do it. But I think they will never nerf DPS back down. I think they will leave it for that. That's the same with the supports. I think it's very unlikely that they will ever nerf stuff like that. I just don't see it. Yeah. Yeah, I know Aeon 2 is actually coming out this year, I think. And it might be true, actually, that Arena that is working and helping with Aeon 2, that would be the worst outcome for Guild Wars 2 for sure. Because that means that there is no Guild Wars 3 ever coming, and we will just get a new game, a completely different game, and that is highly monetized, and we don't get anything for Guild Wars. That could be the case. But let's not speculate about something that could be a bad thing. Better talk about positives, you know? Yeah. Yeah, the major majority about, if you nerf the damage of a 45k DPS build down to 30k, the tryhards would be sad, but they wouldn't cry for the most part. If you nerf a build that normally does like in your hands, like the Unload Deadeye would do 30k or 25k in your hands, for example, if you're a casual player, and you will now only do 10k, your fight will take 2.5 times the amount of time. I'm pretty sure that the casual audience would actually be upset about that. Yeah. If you listen to people from SC and DT, most want a massive stat squish and reduction power. They'd rather have an actual fight on their hands than steamroll everything. Yeah, it's like I said, I really think the casual players will be the sad ones. Yeah. Guild Wars 2 is a design nightmare in that sense in other MMOs because of things like global cooldown and the less dynamic combat. It's far easier to increase the floor and keep the ceiling in check. Yeah, exactly. And Guild Wars 2 is like, you always have a problem with the really tryhard players reaching high damage numbers, and if you turn those damage numbers down, the people that mostly suffer from this are people that never got to those damage numbers, because that means you will decrease the overall damage as well. So yeah, a big problem. I think Guild Wars 2 has very high skill ceiling and also a decently high skill floor, and that's not a very good combination in terms of balancing. That's the problem. Hope Guild Wars 3 will come soon. The LoL MMORPG would be huge. I personally think it would be amazing if we get an MMO with Guild Wars 3 at some point. But I think even if it's an MMO, it will still take years to get there, in my opinion. And if it's not an MMO, then it might be earlier than we think, but it might be not for us as an MMO enjoyer. I think that might be the sad truth. It's not confirmed at all that it's an MMO or that it's coming at all at this point. So you always have to keep that in mind and think about that. But I think if it's an MMO, it's not that likely that it will come out very soon. I think earliest 2027, 2028. That's where I would say that can happen. Yeah. I think Guild Wars 2 has the easiest DPS builds. There's so many low intensity builds that do 25 to 30k DPS, which is insane. WoW and Final Fantasy don't have these options until next patch for WoW. Yeah, I think that's a really good selling point for Guild Wars 2 PvE balance right now, that you have those, because in the early days you did not know about those or didn't have those, and I think that's a really good thing, because a lot of people actually should play those builds because they will never reach numbers that are decent on the normal meta builds. So in like 80% of the cases, if you have a quick DPS catalyst, they should just play a low intensity build that provides quickness, like an Unload Deadeye or some kind of quickness herald, and they will have higher DPS than if they would play the quickness DPS catalyst, because the quickness DPS catalyst is like you press a lot of buttons, and a lot of people don't know how to do that or can't do that. So I think it's really good that we have those, and it's not a shame to run those. Please, if you don't reach the numbers on the meta build, go for the low intensity meta build and you will be fine. That's the important part here. Is Guild Wars 1 free, or do we need to pay to play? You need to actually play. That's the you need to pay for Guild Wars 1 to actually play it. Yes, that's how it works. Also, an actual stat squish at this point wouldn't be feasible at all, since you need to redesign the last 2 to 4 years of expansion fights. Yeah, I think that's the bigger selling point why they wouldn't do it, because that means that they actually had to redo a lot of stuff they already did in the game, which is obviously not something that Arena ever wanted to do. I hate those. This is so annoying to fight. I hate those Condi. They are so annoying to fight. Oh my god, this guy double dodged. It's not even a good player. Oh my god, those one-on-ones that take forever. I should just disengage at this point. It's just... Look at those. Why would you play a staff through it? It's like... Oh my god. They really want to kill me with annoyance. That's the thing. I understand that high DPS is cool for any MMORPG, but it's super important there in Guild Wars 2 when I played WoW. If I didn't needed percentage of DPS, I can't even join raids and guilds. All big numbers. Is it super meta here, or people? No, it's really DPS in Guild Wars 2 is really not mattering at all. For most people, you can just play whatever you like, and you will be clearing all content. You don't have to have high DPS. That's the interesting part about Guild Wars 2. People are just, they don't want to accept that not having perfect DPS is also fine for the most part. Yeah. You only need high DPS for legendary challenge modes and maybe Harvest Temple CM. That's about it. Everywhere else, it's like quality of life to have more DPS because you clear the content faster, but it's not necessary by any means. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they would just, I think even if the DPS numbers would be lower, the game would still be broken because of the supports. I think the real issue are the supports. The supports like Chronomancer, like Firebrand, like Druid, those are insane. What they can provide to all the party and stuff, that's the insane part. Having all boons, providing crazy amounts of healing, and having the amount of just general stats behind them to actually heal crazy and tank that much, it's crazy. This is the bigger problem, I think. Yeah, this build is just annoying. I really hate this to fight stuff like that, you know, because I'm not having the highest DPS, but those people just annoy me with stuns and stuff. I really hate to fight those. At least this is a Necromancer that double dodged, so this guy is so dead. I mean, fighting in there is a little bit scary, I have to be honest. Oh, the unblockable 2 skill. stop it. Now we can kill. No, we didn't crit. Please, kid, die. Thanks. My hot take is that also we need to accept that the average DPS in open world will never go above 5k. I don't know the real number there. Most people are playing Guild Wars 2 to chill, and open world stuff should be tuned to them. We can have CMs and LCMs now, but Epoch and Sentry metas have way too much AP. Yeah, I would agree. I think especially metas that are just annoying and take forever, that should not exist. You know, if it's clearable, just like very easy, but takes 20 minutes, they just should make it less and DPS or necessary and have the DPS, the HP numbers of those bosses tuned down. I agree. I think that's really boring. That's why I don't do these metas, because I hate to hit the boss for like 15 minutes without any real mechanics. I hate this. This is boring. I don't want to engage with that. I agree. I would like to hear your opinion on Dagger Condi Tempest in World vs. World. Viewers to compliment it. I think Dagger Condi Tempest is actually a really good build. It's very annoying to fight against, and I think it's a really good build. I might make a build guide about it in the future. Especially after the next buffs, I think Tempest get actually even better. Yeah. Triple Trouble was interesting because it was mechanically challenging. Epoch is snooze fest and you're just doing rotations for 15 minutes. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see that in the open world. I don't want to see that anywhere, actually. Even in Fractals, they have that in Silent Surf. Silent Surf Fractal is like 10 minutes and you hit the boss, or 5 to 10 minutes depending on the DPS, and you hit the boss and there is no new mechanic, it's always the same stuff. It's really boring, and the same for open world is true. I don't like that. I want to have some engaging content. I don't care if it's 10 minute or 15 minute even engaging content. But if you have 10 minutes, even if you only have 7 minutes that fight though goes, that is just very boring, and you do all the same rotation for 7 minutes, that's boring. I want to have something that is engaging. I totally agree with you there. The only thing I will never come to terms with are people laying dead on the floor for the full duration of a meta fight and begging for res. Pay the fucking 2 silver and port your lazy ass. Yeah, I agree. I think that this is actually insane that people then write, you know, that they're not even lazy only, but they also expect others to actually get out of the way and actually rest those guys. It's actually insane to me that they expect that, because you died in the first place. That means that you either just fucked up or that you didn't pay attention. And in both cases, you should probably just teleport back and redo your stuff, what you did before, and not expect others to, so to say, carry you through the fight with either resting or just dealing damage. If everyone would do that, the fight would not continue and we would wipe. That's just stupid. It's really crazy. I don't understand how old players get ascended gear like for 20 minutes from start to new characters when like 2 weeks and get only 2 pieces because of World vs. World grind. I mean, first of all, always, that's the important part here. The most important thing you need to understand is that you should get the Wizard's World stuff. You only have 3 more days left. So if you have the time, get the Wizard's World stuff. Yeah, get those Ascended Armor chests and the weapon chests. This is the easiest that every single player can get that. Just do it to a few dailies, weeklies, and you will get those. It's insane. It's really good. It's really important how much you get from this. And you will, in 3 days, when the new Wizard's World comes out, in 3 days with the patch, you will lose the current ones and get new ones. So that means if you buy those now and you buy them in a week as well, when the new one comes out, you have a full armor set and you have 2 weapons. So if you choose 2-handed weapons, you have full ascended except from the trinkets. It's really, really good. I was thinking of buying them for research notes, but to be honest, I already am a little bit scared. I'm scared because I'm a hoarder, I can show you. And I don't want to buy more ascended weapons because this character is full. I'm really scared. I'm having a few weapons, you know, a few weapon chests and stuff. So buying more stuff is not always a good choice. I already have way too many of those. So And I agree with Hubly. It's actually insane that you can get them easier. So maybe, yeah. Thanks for the follow, Diat and Cresty. Thanks, really appreciate it. Yeah, but I guess it's actually a valid point for research nodes to buy those just to salvage them, because if you don't know, you can salvage them with the research kit, the ascended stuff, and you get actually quite a decent amount of research nodes. And for veteran that doesn't need ascended gear anymore because they have full legendary like I do, then it's actually a very worthwhile thing to do because it's very fast to get research nodes. It's the fastest way, but it's not insane. Yeah, I agree. But the problem is, that's why I keep them. If I want to do dungeons, yeah, and I want to swap, for example, to a, I don't know, demon slaying for fractals, and I want to swap to, I don't know, ice brute saying it's dagger, then I want to have ascended gear, not legendary gear. That's why I keep weapons. Yeah, that's the thing. I agree. I have everything in the game, so I agree. I don't care about having ascended gear, so to say, ready to pick up. I'm happy when I get more quality of life and better research nodes. I agree. Fair point. I tip my hat. I mean, it's like sometimes it's really good. Sometimes you might need ascended weapons. I don't have my ascended armor saved for the most part. I have a little bit, but not that much. So yeah, maybe I should buy it. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should buy it just to keep it. Maybe. I don't know. What time on the 3rd does the update will be up? So it will be at 6 p.m. my time. So currently my time it's 12. So 12 a.m. 12 p.m. rather. So it will be 6 hours from now and 3 days. That's so on Tuesday in 6 hours. That's it. Yeah. Thanks, Lelling, for actually using the correct time zone. I don't remember how it was. Yes, correct. The SPVP Mirage build you tell me about, is it still the Power Spear one? Yes, that's correct. That's the one that is really good. It is hard to play, very fun to play, but you need to learn it first. It's not making everything work for most people. You have to learn it slowly and you will get there. Yeah. I only miss one legendary icon in the game now. Well, technically 2 if you include the Aqua Beetle that doesn't exist. Yeah, nice. Soon I will have every slot filled. Yeah, I think that's the goal that you should go for. I mean, I have every slot filled multiple times, like I showed last time, but I feel like that's the goal you should go for. If you want to play Guild Wars 2 long term, that's the goal you should go for, because then you can play every build and have a lot of fun. But Condom Mirage is also really good in PvP. The problem is Condom Mirage fell off quite a while ago in terms of high level play. But in lower level play or in casual ranked play, it's actually okay. But I think Power Mirage is way better if you know how to play it. Yeah. I actually did the underwater weapons last as well, but I actually have 2 of the spears, so I can use spear, and spear for, I don't know, whatever reason I can do that. This is also decent, yeah. But like I said, I think going for full armor, weapons, and trinkets, that's something you should aim for if you want to play Guild Wars 2 long run, because that's really helping you with getting everything. And then going for runes and sigils and even the relic if you want to, you don't have to go for multiple weapons. That's just not necessary, but you can see I did that just for whatever reason. You can do it. It's not like necessary, but it helps. I'm a new player trying to pick a class. I'm looking for a class that has some good Condi hybrid damage with some support, solo group, decent mobile and durable. I did already try some classes, but I would like an advice. So you want to have some good Condi hybrid damage with some support. I think it's very important. You should pick, like Snowdrop points out, the thing that you actually enjoyed playing, that you like the class fantasy of, and you will get into it. Yeah. I have 12k hours. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't... I think everyone plays the game differently. That's the important part. If you don't have full legendary after over 10k hours, that doesn't matter. You know, just have fun, play the game like you like it, and you will enjoy it. You know, if someone like me didn't get my legendary in the first few 100 hours, I would be sad, because I'm always I like to have the best gear possible. I like to try out different classes, different builds, and that's just the most optimal way to do it. But if you're not like me, then you don't care. It's just everyone can play differently, and that's the important part here. But like I said, for a new player, you can type !classes. I can do that. And I have a showcase of all the classes. So if you don't know which kind of elite spec you should choose or class you should choose, you can check out this video and have a showcase of all the classes, talk about for 1 minute how they work out. So that's actually quite nice. Revenant might be a good choice, I agree. But every class can be played in the way you actually describe it nowadays. Firebrand actually is true, very good one. So Guardian and Revenant are really good. Are you going to streams now? Very good. Honestly, I had very few legendaries on the Soto. I've made 40 plus since Soto release, but I've played since day one. It's always been fine running Ascended. Yeah, it's not like it's not necessary. That's the cool part. Ascended will be completely fine. You can get Ascended in the first week of playing Guild Wars 2. That's the cool part. But I feel like if you play like me, like I want to have, like on my Chronomancer, I have 9 different build template or equipment templates here, and I have 70 characters, you know. I have 70 characters. Like, why would I not get Ascended to Legendary upgrade? Why would I not get that? Because I can use it everywhere, you know. I have all my characters have the perfect gear now. I can use them in every single game mode. I have a lot of fun with them, and it will work out. But it's only because I have full Legendary. If I have to equip 70 characters with Ascended gear, that would take ages. As soon as there is some kind of balance patch that needs me to change the gear, I would be so sad. And now I actually don't need to care about that. That's the good part. Yeah. I don't even care about the skins of the weapons and the armor for the most part. I equip them a lot of times, but it's not necessary. Yeah. As someone with your mentality, do you think Guild Wars 2 has an okay amount of gear grind, or do you find yourself bored now that you have full Legendary? So the interesting part here is I have full Legendary. I had that, like, I don't know, before Soto. I don't even remember. I think it was like 6 years ago, something like that. Welcome Q, welcome. So it's like really I had that years ago, but I still play Guild Wars 2 because I enjoy going for new stuff, setting myself own goals, you know, going for Facet of Prisons title, for example, stuff like that, going for full wardrobe, you know, stuff like that. That are my goals. I have, for example, the guaranteed wardrobe, everything unlocked from the guaranteed wardrobe unlocker, stuff like that. Those are my goals. So I set myself own goals. It's not like I'm a gear grind enjoyer, but I'm setting myself own goals. That's the thing. I also like to upgrade my inventories on my characters, stuff like that. So yes, there is definitely something that is not for everyone if you can't set yourself own goals, but just that's my take. Yeah. How many new mastery points will be added to the game maximum from 620 to 650, do you think? Yeah, maximum. I don't think more than 30. I actually don't think so. Yeah. I don't think it's more than 30. Never was, I think. Just watch your guides. Me just played Guild Wars 2. Can I know what's the best boon? Quick DPS for Fractals raids? In terms of DPS, it's definitely Quick DPS Catalyst. But overall, I think Chronomancer is really good. Herald can be a decent pick if you struggle with boon uptime. So this is like, you always should adjust it, you know. For Fractals, I would say Quick DPS is probably Chrono is a good pick. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think those three. Easy is Quick DPS Herald. Best DPS is Quickness Cutter, and best overall flexibility is Chrono. Yeah, Scrapper is really good. Good point. Scrapper is actually very good as well. Yeah, good point. Forgot Scrapper. Yes. Nothing changed from your Spear Mirage SPVP build. The Power Block and Stormsinger got big nerf. Yes, Stormsinger got a big nerf. So Stormsinger is not the way to go anymore. But the Power Block nerf will come in June 24. So this is not out yet, the Power Block nerf. So you can still play Power Block, but I wouldn't run Stormsinger anymore. That's a good point. I would run probably, you can still run it, but I would probably run River's Relic or Fireworks. I think Fireworks is the safe bet. It's just more damage, but you can even go for River's Relic. But that's about it, yeah. I actually, what do you think? Wait 1 second. Thanks, Ayman. Really appreciate the support. Thanks a lot. 1 second. Yeah, my account value is over 1 million. So that's the account value. If you're asking for that, I have over 1 million account value. I'm pretty high on the leaderboard. Yes. Scrapper is really good at fractals. Yeah, I think Scrapper is one of the best thing to play in fractals, at least in high level as a quick DPS as well. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The utility is more important than a quick DPS, so that's why I would pick Chronomancer or Scrapper for the most part, yeah. Worth it to grind all 3 types of legendary armor, just one. So, I mean, the rune you can swap. I used now, I think the rune was like, but the thing is you can adjust the rune to the situation. So if you play a lot of against power builds, I'm just using Infiltration for even more damage. But you can go for Dolyak rune, you can go for Divinity if you wanted to. Everything works. The rune is more like you swap around, you know, that's the thing. Yeah, Berserker has big utility in PvE. I just use Infiltration here. That's my setup, but it doesn't mean that you have to run the same. It's like a slight change from the last time I made a video about it, but it's not necessary. You can still run the same build and will be completely fine. So is it worth to grind all 3 types of legendary armor? If you play 9 different classes, yes, then it's definitely worth it. But if you don't, then it's not important. Yeah, that's not important. I feel like I have for all my classes all the ascended legendary gear. But if you only play, for example, Guardian and Warrior, you don't care about all the armor classes. Yes. I mean, you can. There are not gender locks. You can play every single class on every single gender, whatever you want. You can go for Sylvari male thief, and you can go for Char male engineer or female. It doesn't matter. You can play everything that you want it to be. And there's also not a real reason to play anything or play nothing. It doesn't matter. There's no real. The racial skills in this game are so bad that no one uses them. Maybe except the Char or the Asura one for a very small fraction of players that actually want to engage with that. But for the most part, it's not worth it. Welcome, Echo Fox. Welcome, welcome. Maybe you should do a fractal run if everyone is here. Yeah. Thanks, Gary, for the follow, by the way. Really appreciate it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, the dailies are looking not that good. But, I mean, at some point you have to do the dailies, you know. The dailies give you a lot of gold. So if you don't do the tier 4s all the time, then you will lose out on value. Don't forget that. I don't know, the Soto strikes, I really don't dislike doing the Soto strikes. I do them once a week because they give more gold that way, but I don't want to do them again. They are not that good, you know, they are just boring, they have a lot of HP, they are not good in terms of design in my opinion. Saros is okay, but Dacta is horrible, and they are very easy. Why would I redo them? You can join every group and you will be fine, don't worry. Don't worry, just do them on your own. There are always people up in the strike missions LFG. And if not, do it on your own. Especially if you play in the evening, there are a lot of people playing. Even the normal players will let you in the group. There's no reason to actually do it on your own. Yeah, I really don't like it. It takes forever to kill those bosses. I don't like them. Yeah. What order do you suggest on going for strike mission CMs? So I would start with Aetherblade Hideout and Anchor. So Sunlight Jadeyard. Those 2 are the easiest. Then I would probably go for Old Lion's Court. Or Dacta CM is also there. Sorry, I forgot. Dacta CM is the easiest one. Dacta CM, then you go for Aetherblade Hideout and Sunlight Junkyard. Then you go for Old Lion's Court and Cunning Overlook. And then you have to go for probably Harvest Temple. And then you go for Saros CM and LCM. That's the order I would see it, yeah. I mean, even if they are not daily, I mean, you can just do one today and the other one tomorrow, because they always, this one, now it's Temple of February, tomorrow it will be CO. It's like always swapping around. It's always one or the other. So if you have 2 days, you will get people there. Nice, you're in my mist lock, very good. Yeah, best strike mission? No, I really think it's a really bad strike mission. I think it's actually one of the worst, if not the worst strike mission. It's really, really bad. Right. Why does it not work? There we go. Yeah. I got the Lily of the Alien pass. Should I get the Fractal one? I play everyday Fractal. I personally like it a lot. I think for Fractals, having this pass, I think I have 4 or 5 passes at this point, and I think it's the only one that I use regularly because it's really nice with the Fractals, and I really like the look. I record some videos here, and it's also just very close together. You have the special action key to jump around, so it's everywhere. It's really close and fast. So I personally think it's actually... I like to play that stuff and have that stuff here, but so I would recommend getting that one. It's probably the best for you if you play a lot of Fractals. But if you don't care about Fractals, or if you have, for example, the 1000 Seas Pavilion Pass, which is probably the biggest contender for the second place, if you have that one already, then you don't need to do it. Yeah. So keep that in mind. I prefer playing SCM Ceres in 9 than doing Doctor normal mode, so terrible. Good point. I mean, I would probably agree with that. Normal mode Doctor is like so boring. I only do it once a week for the extra gold. It's really, I don't do it again because it's so boring. It's so boring. And I had groups, I'm not joking. I had 1 or 2 groups in my Guild Wars 2 life, so to say, that actually vibed at it in the last 10%. And it felt like so painful. It was like one of the most painful things to ever get into the game experience, because it's like the boss is so boring, so easy, and then you have to redo the whole thing. It's like, oh my god, they really wanted to punish me. Okay, so I want to do some Fractals. So let's see who we can find. I guess we join this group. Looks good. Yeah, very good. Fractal time, yes. Come and join. Fractal time. Fractal time. Yes. I'm gonna do some Fractal games. Holy shit, that was fast. That was fast. Nice, Hub is here. Very good. Welcome, welcome. Everyone is here, so let's play some Fractals. I thought so, but apparently the group was filling so fast, so we have to do it now on this one. Let's see how it goes, you know. I never know. I mean, we also have some viewers here, so next time again, don't worry. Let's see if the 20k group is better than ours. I highly doubt it. We will see. You know, it's for content, you know, comparison. 20k group, if it's that good. If it's that good. Oh no, it's no pain, no gain. It's always no pain, no gain. I feel like it's so bad. Yes, I always forget that you're only so low, even though you actually know what you're doing, you know. It feels like it's actually... It doesn't matter. We have hopefully good people here now. So we have some nice DPS players here. Let's see how Tempest and I think it's a DPS Firebrand. It's actually very interesting how we will see actually DPS Tempest, DPS Spectre, and DPS Firebrand, how they actually compare to each other, because I often feel like people really underestimate how good those builds are. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's. I don't care about the kill group. I just want to find a group that actually is currently up for playing Fractals. That's why I joined this one. This was the only one that was up. So let's see if the 20k is actually worth it. Yeah, if you have a decent Firebrand or decent, or not even decent, somewhat decent Firebrand, then you actually have a great time ahead. Firebrand is really good. They have a lot of DPS. But as you can see, Tempest is also really good. I think really people underestimate how much DPS flexibility, especially in the Condi fights, actually exists in Guild Wars 2. The flexibility in terms of what you can actually provide to your party is, you can do anything in Fractals for the most part. You don't have to play the only meta build, like, I don't know, Condi Harbinger here. There are so many different builds that you can play. Oh, it spoon stripped me, I think. So my name, Surma, it's actually an interesting thing. It's just I was looking for a name to use online when I created my Guild Wars account back then or something like that, yeah. And I just came up with some, I was looking up for whatever reason, I thought it's interesting how stars are named, and Surma is a star. So I just named just a random star on our, let's say, night sky, and that's how I named myself. That's the only reason. Nothing special there. Yeah. I'm at a country Harbinger yesterday, but I only get to 36k on the golem. I mean, it's not easy. It's not the easiest class to play. That much is for sure. It's a very fun build, and it's also quite decent to play for fractals, especially those fractals that we are currently doing. But I would say, oh my god, I did not get the aftercast. Yeah, but it's not like the only one that can be played. But of course, if you're Necromancer enjoying, such as yourself, that's something that is definitely worthwhile getting. And I think learning more builds is always a good thing, because that's only improving how to actually enjoy the game, how to have fun. Because learning new stuff, that's how you play Guild Wars 2. You should never stick to one build all the time and play it for 10 years. If that's fun to you, do it, but it's not something that is actually helping you getting better at the game. That's my honest take here. I really think it's important to mention that. I mean, the DPS is good. I think the DPS is good. We have 40k Spectre. I mean, we have also quite nice instabilities, to be honest. Higher than 9k. Yes. Yesterday we had like a group that was, I did fractals and it was horrible. It was like, oh my god, it was so bad. We had one DPS player that was actually doing a good job, and the other 3 people, so I played healer, and the other 3 people, I'm not joking, I'm not overselling it. The other 3 people did the same DPS together as the top DPS. It was like, I was the healer, the other people had the same DPS as the top DPS. It was like, what are they doing? It was insane. It was like the biggest, I don't know, fractal group fail ever. It was consistently. It doesn't matter which kind of fight it was. It was always like that. It was it really hurt to watch that. At least we did get it done at some point, but it was one of the worst experiences that I had in quite a long run. Yeah. What's the Connie Tempest build? I think it's just the Snowcrows one. But I don't have a build guide about it yet, so maybe I should do that in the future. The whole progression system of Guild Wars 2 is literally revolved around playing multiple specs builds. Yeah, exactly. I think if you only play one build in Guild Wars 2, you really play the game as like only a fraction of what it could be. It's really like you really want to play the game with multiple characters, multiple builds to have fun. I feel like if you lose out a lot of value of the game, of the enjoyment of the game, if you only play one character and one build, that is. Yeah, you can play on one character, like on Mesmer, for example, you could play like 20 different builds. I'm not joking, that are really good in PvE. But it's not like absolutely necessary to do so. But I feel like it really would help the enjoyment for most people to learn new builds, because that will also help them improve at the game. You know, the class that you played before will be easier or better to play for you if you actually try out different things. No, it's always me. Come on. Bit more. Oh. That's why I need Harrier gear. If you don't have Harrier gear on this build, you struggle a lot. You really need the Harrier gear to kill those things. So that's why I don't go for Givers, because if you are on Givers here, it's a vibe. It's straight up a vibe. You need to kill those things. No, didn't get my boons up. No, we lost someone. No, it's fine. Don't worry. We will kill it anyway, I guess. Basically, since Guild Wars 2 makes swapping gear so easy, yeah, it's not only that you swap gear is so easy, but it's also that there is no real progression in the game that is necessary after reaching level 80, you know? It's just you reach level 80 and you can play the class to its fullest. You don't have to redo the story or have to explore maps for that matter. You can do it, but it's not necessary. So that means that it's just very easy to get into the new build and character that you want to learn. Everyone on PvP is shit and toxic. I mean, that's sad to hear. I would say it's like, it's just a classical issue with, I wouldn't say PvP games, but in general games that have some competitive mode in there. It's like, it's just, there are a lot or somewhat toxic people there. That's just how it goes, I guess. You have to accept that. And if you ignore them, I think Guild Wars 2 PvP is okay. There are people that are bad, there are people that are good, and some of them are also toxic. That's just, if you accept it, that happens, yeah. Sadly. I play one game and get told to like 4 times. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously not a good thing. I mean, that happens to me as well. I just ignore those people. It's not only happening to me, but people on my team. It's just toxic. It happens. That's the sad truth. I think that happens with every PvP game, to be honest. I really don't think that will happen, that there is a PvP game that doesn't happen, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, when I play PvP, I never write something toxic. I never flame people because I think that's not productive. That doesn't help anyone. And I might be, of course, upset if someone is doing something stupid, but I don't write that. I'm not really helping in any way to actually improve the situation by being toxic. So I really try to be positive and helping. And if I can't do that, I'm not writing anything. That's just not solving the issue. I think there's definitely ways to reduce toxicity, like adding some pings that would help communication. I don't mind so much if someone calls me a slur. I mean, the thing is, you can actually ping stuff on the minimap, you know? If you see my minimap here, you can actually ping stuff on the minimap. People see that, defend and that kind of stuff. But it's not, people don't know about it, people don't use it that much. It's I don't know. Just people, for whatever reason, need to learn some stuff. So how to play the game, I guess. Nice, we got the CC. I think this group's DPS should be way above what we need to actually clear this in time. So yeah, no problem. Not an issue at all. Very good. I'm not calling you a fish. That's a really mean thing to say about someone. No, I'm joking. Why should I do that? You know, I'm not toxic. I really try. If there's any time on stream you think that I am being toxic or being mean to anyone, please tell me, because then I really want to change that. I really try to not be. I try to be a patient, calm person, even in the some to say hot-headed situations. But yeah, I mean, I try my best. So let me always know if there's something that is concerning you about that. For me, only reason I didn't get 20 plus characters, I had to do storyline quests again. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I can see why you don't like that. Yeah. and open all the maps. Yeah, that's I don't like it because of the maps. The maps thing is something that I don't like. The cool part is with the tomes that we now get into one combined after the next patch. I think this helps a lot, so I can port to all the stuff that is necessary for my new characters. But it's really yeah. Nice. I think it's important that if you do mistakes, people should help you and be friendly and call them out, because only then you can learn it. You know, it's really unlikely that you actually learn from your mistakes if no one tells you that you did a mistake in the first place. But you should tell it in a friendly way. That's the important part. So if I see that someone only has 20% quickness uptime because they are positioning incorrectly or something like that, then I tell them maybe and say, be careful, your build is not correct or you're not positioning correctly as a quick DPS. So please try to improve on that. I'm not being toxic by telling you this, at least in my opinion. Yeah. Maybe someone might say, "Ooh, this is toxic." I mean, if that's you, I'm sorry, because I feel like it's okay to help someone getting better at the game. It's my take, at least. I'm not sure what to do with all the new free shared inventory slots. I agree. I'm actually really, I'm really happy to see that, but I'm actually so, I don't know, accustomed to it that I don't really know what to do with all my inventory slots. We will see what I will fill in there. Maybe some giveaways that I do all the time, that I can do the giveaways on every character. Maybe, I guess. What's the best thief build in PvE? It depends. On this fractal, it's alacrity, it's DPS Spectre. But it depends highly on the situation. Sometimes Deadeye is the best, sometimes Heal Spectre is the best. It highly depends on the situation. Yes, we did get it. Yeah, I mean, I really try to make trainings fun, yet also people understand more more after they did the raid training with me. That's my goal. So if I do a raid training, for example, I want to make you better at the raid, better at the game, maybe even, and also that you had a fun time. So I try to do that. It's not always possible that it's fun as well. Sometimes you have to learn stuff the hard way. That's just how it goes, I guess. Okay, we did it. Don't have more for this one, so we can't do the CC here. That's fine, we will get the CC after this, I guess. You see, the DPS is really good. I like the DPS of this group. You can see it's actually, this is one of the first times that we actually have a 20k group that is actually doing the job quite well. No. Okay, we get the boom here, I guess. It's fine, we have all the mist logs, so we can skip that and we will be fine. Very good, very quite clean run, no problems. Build search, no build templates. Oh my god, that was nasty. What was that explosion of the fear? Build templates always good as long as you don't have full legendary gear for all armor classes. I mean, I think the build storage is really bad. The build templates are not necessary, but can be good. But equipment templates are god tier. They are really good if you play multiple characters, multiple builds. They are really good. You can, of course, have different characters for this as well. And character slots are more worthwhile to get because you can also use them as storage and that kind of stuff. But it's always highly dependent on how you play the game. Yeah, I mean, if you don't like PvP in Guild Wars 2 and 2 unbalanced, don't play it. You know, you should always play something that's fun to you. If you have something that is not fun to you, don't play it. That's the biggest part. It's not necessary to play PvP at all. That's the cool part. You can play Guild Wars 2 without playing PvP and you will still have fun. Wait, where's the guy? No rights this year. That was sad. They were just greeting for DPS. I mean, I could have soloed this is the thing, but I had some help, but it was not enough. I think it would have been better if everyone was helping here. Oh, come on. I wanted to do a pre-stack. Yeah, PvP. I think we have a big PvP tournament happening today, as far as I know. That will be interesting. But other than that, I don't know. PvP is like for a very small fraction of the community. That's just the truth. That's how it goes. Does anyone have a portal here? No, I don't think so. Wow. Yeah, thanks Lichbreed, Tsunami, and Black Magic. Really appreciate the follow and the Prime sub, Black Magic. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the support. They are so fast, I can't get behind them, ahead of them. I really need to provide stability here. So let's try to do that. You can see how fast it is when you have 4 power DPS. That's the good part. Very nice. When I reach 20k, I will play Unload Data if Summer opens a group to celebrate. Don't get me wrong, I did not join this group because I wanted to have 20k KP players. I just wanted, it was the only group that was there and just joined because of that. I really don't care about it. If I have people that don't die, I'm happy, you know. Even if they don't do any DPS, at some point we will kill it. Just don't want people that don't know how to do the mechanics. That's the only thing that I join KP groups. I like PvP for the Wizards Vault dailies. Exactly. I actually play PvP mostly only once a day, maybe twice a day, just to get the Wizards Vault stuff, because it's the fastest way. It's very consistent. You play one match and you actually get the Wizards Vault stuff. But if you don't like PvP, of course, then don't go for it. It's obviously not for you then. Very good. I mean, Unload Data is not the best choice for fractals. That's the truth. It's okay. It works in some fractals, but in some other fractals, like I don't know. I don't like it especially in tier 4s. It's really bad because the cleave is not that good, and you have to cleave a lot of times there. So I don't know. You have to be careful when to play that stuff. But of course, it's a build that works decently all the time, and it's always very easy. So at least there's that. So we have no reflect. And I will use feedback. At least I can give elite women CC, I guess. Yeah, I mean that's true. The CC on the Venomous is really great. If people know how to use that, it's actually a lot of CC output that you provide as well. Good point. But I feel like in Fractals, it's not like the CC is like Chronomancer is so broken. You could see I could almost solo the entire CC there. It was so broken. There is not a lot of classes that actually do that while providing all the boons. It's insane. I think Chronomancer needs a nerf. It's not giving breathing room for any other supports because it's so broken. That's the problem. And they didn't touch it with the balance patch. I'm thinking about making a rival mag and telling Simmer I trained it on Golem and then doing it the first time in CMs while like 10k DPS. I mean, it would still be higher than your 9k on the Scourge. No, I'm joking. No, don't worry. I mean, I don't care. You know, if you know the mechanics and you want to play a build the first time in strike missions or fractals with me, I really don't care. You know, if you don't die, I'm happy enough. I'm not joking about that. You don't have to control your mech, you know, just let the mech, they know what they are doing. Keep supports OP so that I don't have to do CC as DPS. Yeah, I think they will not change it. Don't get me wrong. I really doubt it they will ever change this. I think that's not gonna happen. I think they will not change support brokenness ever. They just accept it as it as how broken they are, and they will just leave it like that. I'm sorry. That was a mean joke. I'm sorry. It was obviously just a joke. I would never be toxic. Please, please. Hope you know that. It was just a joke. Don't worry. You can join as a convert as well if you really want that. If you don't die, then I'm happy enough. The DPS is quite good on this group. You can see we skip everything, every single mechanic here. Quickness circle, yeah. After the patch, it's actually, I think, quite a challenge to not achieve 100% uptime. It's actually a big buff with the quickness uptime after the patch. I really think that's a big buff in general, because that makes it way easier to play for not that try-hard players as well. Nice, we didn't have to GG anything here. Very good. No, I will never tell you that, Hugh. Don't worry. I will not tell you that you are bad at the game. Don't worry. I think everyone starts out somewhere. You have to start as a newer player, and you will slowly improve, and that's how it works. Yeah, don't worry. I will not tell you that you are bad at the game. You start out bad and you will get better, but I will not tell you anything toxic about the game. So can we get the skip here? Oh, it's close. We didn't skip, but we didn't die. I guess they are really greeting for DPS here. It's fine. I'm sorry. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be some kind of... I'm not even that good at the game. That's the interesting part, you know? If you would look at someone that is actually knowing what they're doing as a heal chronomancer and fractals, then that would look completely different. And then there would be reason to actually talk to you if you would actually not know what you're doing. But I'm not even that good. So I'm just someone that actually plays fractals a lot, and that's about it. So please be always like, try to give advice, try to make you a better player, but I'm not the best player anyway, so keep that in mind. Yeah, yeah, I mean, if you if you play Berserker without pressing your Berserk form, then that's actually grieving at this point. That's actually insane. But you can see it's actually in this fight, it's actually, you skip every single mechanic. That's what I meant. The power creep is just insane. We don't see like any of the real mechanics of this fight. We just ignore everything, or we skip it entirely in the first place. It's actually absolutely insane. It's actually quite fun to see how good the group can be and how easy it is to do this fight then, because there is nothing happening here. If you have just high DPS, there is nothing happening in this phase. It's crazy. My Scourge sucks in PvP and World vs. World. Moving targets are yes. Yeah. I mean, I think Scourge is, in my opinion, a fine balanced support. You know, it has its weaknesses, but it has its strength. I think that's how it should be. And even in PvP and World vs. World, it's the same. It has its strength when it's useful. In push, it's good. In PvP, it's bad. I think that's how it should be. But the problem is, it's like it's overshadowed by, even in competitive modes, the supports are like very flexible what they provide and what they don't have any weaknesses. So for the most part, it's like, why would you pick something that has a weakness over something that doesn't have a weakness? And that's a big balance problem in Guild Wars in general. And Scorch is one of the biggest contenders for that problem. Yeah, Scourge is meta in World vs. World. It's just very good with the boon strip and the AoE control that it has, but it's still, I would say, a pick that you would not use for roaming, for example. And I think that's really cool that it has some usage in a specific scenario, while it doesn't have a usage in another scenario. And that's how it should be. And I think all other supports and all other builds should be balanced somewhat similar like this, and not just like Chronomancer is the best in every single scenario. That's not how it should be. And DPS Scourge is in World vs. World. There was a time there you played DPS Scourge. Oh my god, that was close. There was a time where you played that actually, because it was really good, but it's not anymore. So Strip Virtuoso still good? Yeah, it's still good. It's still good. No, I didn't give the stability in time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I missed my 100% stability uptime on you. Can't get the rest when you go down there. Next time someone opens a Fractal Krug, I'm gonna join as an engineer, posting a scrapper and playing the Forbidden Holo. Oh no, don't share this build. Not in Fractals. No, never. We don't want to talk about this again, ever. That's not how we want it. So which one is it? There we go. I mean, to be honest, yesterday I had like one player that did more DPS than you with your Convert on 15k. I'm not joking. I had 3 DPS or 2.5 DPS that actually did not know what they are doing. So yeah, sometimes I would actually take that. I think I have solved the issue with the delay. Nice, you solved it. What was it? I just switched to instant casting and setting. It's much better. The fast cast with indicator is so laggy. Crazy. I mean, I have instant cast always, so maybe that I know what we are doing here. So let's get this guy here. Come here. Mooring this guy makes it so that it comes to you. That's helping. So we can easily kill them. That's good that you solved it. I mean, for me, I'm always playing with instant cast, so I can't tell you what is actually the issue here. But issue for me is like if I have high ping, then I have an issue. But usually I don't, so I'm fine with that. And instant casts, in my opinion, the best way to play Guild Wars 2 if you're experienced, because you know how the attacks ranges and radii are, so you don't need to see it. I think the only thing that you have together when you do, so to say, instant cast, you need to, where is it? Lock ground target at maximum skill range. That's the only thing that you need to do when you use instant casting, because then it locks the stuff at the most border, so you can't, so to say, accidentally not cast something. So you have instant cast, and if you go at the maximum, it will port you to the maximum, for example. That's really important. Those two settings together are necessary, in my opinion. But if you now solve that, perfect. Really, does the auto take Convert also does more than 15k DPS? That's actually crazy. That's a lot of DPS then for just auto tagging. That's I actually wanted to do a Virtuoso low intensity build next. So slight teaser for those that want to see a low intensity build guide. The next upcoming one is the Virtuoso one. I think it will come out next week. Wait, I need to swap to my, where is it? There. It's pre-stacking with the traps. I like it. Here we go. Make one that is viable in World vs. World. The problem, I have a, so to say, a guide for one build for all game modes, and Virtuoso is a really good one for that. But the problem is making a low intensity build for PvE is very, very, I wouldn't say hard, but it makes the game very less, so to say, free what you can choose, and going for world versus world and PvE makes it even harder to play. So I personally think it's very unlikely that I can find a build that is low intensity for PvE and is decent in world versus world. I might try to make it work, but I don't have my hopes up for that one. Yeah, the DPS is quite good. That's why you see Dragon Hunter in speedruns. Yeah. That's why you see it. Yeah, I mean, for Cirque play, maybe, but maybe with I don't know. I really try to make it work, but I feel like it's really hard. It's really hard to make something for multiple game modes, builds that are really good there. I'm happy that I made it possible for all 9 classes at the moment. I don't know if it's actually quite likely that I will get this for other elite specs and other builds as well. I think that's just not that likely, to be honest. Maybe, but I don't see it. You have to update the Arc DPS. Sometimes it's out of date and then you have to update it again. Mine is the most up-to-date version and it's working, yes. So it should work for you if you have the most updated version as well. The best low-intensity world versus world build is Hammer Dragon Hunter. Yes, that is true. That is really good. It's really underrated. Just spamming the auto take. It's also really good, not only as a low-intensity build, but also sometimes you have, so to say, server issues, so rubber banding and stuff, and you can't use anything other than the auto take. And then the auto take Hammer Guardian is actually superior. It does the most damage, and it's just very nice with permanent protection for your party as well. It's really good. Okay, 12.5k is not that far off from 15k, so it's actually doesn't surprise me that it's. I would say it's actually quite high. So maybe you can play an auto tech only Condivert. It's not that good, but at least it's low intensity, I guess. I mean, 14k after 30 seconds is like a very long ramp up time, but at least you get there, I guess. No food. Signet. Dueling Condivert is 13.5k auto attack for me. Oh my god, I should just take care and watch at the screen, especially in this phase. I will catch up and chat in a sec. So if you delay the CC here a bit, we can instantly phase so that we don't have to move at all. Yeah, it was a nice CM run. Now let's go to the Tier 4s. Let's see how this goes with a decent group. Hopefully we get the Aether Blades skip. I can also try to do it. I think I know the port spot now. We will see. Heli build with 1500 range, insane. That sounds good. That sounds good. I mean, I think the dagger doesn't have 1500 range. It's 1200 range. So if you play dagger, it's actually not that high. Dagger Thief is only auto attacks as well, isn't it? It's not, because Dagger either you play Condi and you spam the 3 skill, or you play power and you spam, so to say, 1 into 5 into 1. That's so. Dagger is never just auto attack, I would say, because you want to backstep. Oh, let me do that. So apparently, if you stealth here, you can skip and don't have to dodge the mines. It's helping. I will try to cook with F1 and auto attack. Nice. That's actually then a good build. Then I might just use that as a low intensity build if you want to share that one. Snowdrop. If it reaches 20k as a low intensity build, maybe 25. That would be a 25 plus with just 2 buttons. That's a good one. Nice, I got the skip. Nice, we got the skip. Very good. No. No, it's dagger is 1200. Dagger is really good. It's a really good weapon. That's why I really like to have dagger in as a mesmer, because it provides a lot of value just from the range. If you have some messy situation, it's crazy how much value it does. Oops. It's fine, just go down. No fish, no cry. Exactly. That's my my motto apparently in streaming. I like it. It's good. It's a good one. $20K, I do 23K with one F1 dagger focus. 1, 2, 3, 5,000 cuts. Sounds like your full rotation, isn't it? If you press all your buttons. I mean, I think even the most meta pressing all buttons, most optimized Condivert is not the highest number anymore. It's like 38, 39K or something if you have full infusions. So it's not as crazy anymore. It's like a quick DPS catalyst or something. It's not that high anymore. So you should not expect getting really high damage numbers on an I build because you're using the same general principle. So Condivert is 40K. Yeah, something. I think it's 40K, maybe slightly below on average, as far as I know, at least. 41. Okay, then I guess it's slightly above, but it's not for a DPS build. It's actually not as high. So if you compare to, for example, 45 from the Condi Willbender and something, it's definitely a lower time. But for the safety of use, it's actually still quite high. I expected it to be lower, to be honest. And it's also quite easy to perform on. I actually think it's one of the easiest builds to play as well. You just spam your attacks and always the blade songs. It's like not very challenging what you actually do. You just all the time, if you have 5 blades up, you use them. It's like, that's about it. That's the whole idea behind this. How much does the infusion affect? So infusion's typically like 2 to 4%, depending on the build. Yeah. I always take it into account as 2.5% or something. Just on average, something like that, yeah. Precise infusions matter a little bit more than power infusions, but yeah. What is the best DPS build for fractals and CMs? Guardian DPS build? Dragon Hunter. Dragon Hunter for power fights and Condi Willbender for Condi fights. Or for ranged fights, I would go with Condi Willbender, for example, in 99, 98 Condi Willbender, and Guardian, if you can play Dragon Hunter, it's a very good in power thing. And in 100 CM, I would go with Willbender because you have a high amount of hits and then you can make use out of the life stealing orbs, and that helps. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just a Mesmer player and I don't have a problem playing Condi Virtuoso, but I played this like years when it came out with End of Dragons. I played it like twice on the Golem and it reached the benchmark. It was really not that hard in my opinion. But maybe it's just, you know, I'm just a very experienced player and maybe I didn't have the issue then. Maybe that's the thing here. Maybe also I just was really in flow with this build. Maybe that's sometimes, you know, you have to play a build that is actually working for you. Sometimes people play builds that are really, really not suited to their playstyle. So if you want to play some kind of really slow attacking, hard hitting attacks, then maybe playing something like with 1,000 cuts like Condi Virtuoso is not the thing for you. So you always have to take that into account as well, of course. Soul Beast better than DH? I mean, they were specifically asking for Guardian builds, so I can't recommend Soul Beast to them. But yes, I would agree. In a really try-hard group, I think Soul Beast might be a slightly better. But of course, it's not a Guardian spec, so yes. Condi Firebrand is fun to play. Yeah, Condi Firebrand is really good as well. But I think if you, just from a benchmark number, Willbender is a little bit higher. That's why I would say if you're really going for a really try-hard level and you want to have the highest DPS possible, then you would go for Willbender instead of Firebrand. But yes, it's correct. Firebrand has more flexibility and is also very, very good in terms of DPS. So if you're a Firebrand enjoyer, definitely not a problem. You can play it as well. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point, Echo Fox. I get it. Swap the word and look if they notice they don't have a healer. I think they would not notice that we don't have a healer. I think actually I could swap to a DPS Chronomancer here as long as I provided Alacrity and the boons. That's more the problem. If I would provide all the boons, then everything would be good. But I feel like we would lack a lot of boons with this setup. I provide all the boons actually on this. That's the problem. Yeah, I mean, no worry. I mean, you're right. Soul Beast is, I would say, slightly better in real situations for speedruns right now. But of course, if you're playing Guardian only, then you can't make that argument and say play Soul Beast. It's just not possible. But I would say it's, for the most part, play what you like. It's not like in Fractals you don't get through if you play Dragon Hunter instead of Soul Beast. It's not like that necessary. You can play whatever you like and you will clear it. You could even play a low intensity Tempest here and you will clear the fight. I have played Soul Beast DPS and it is one of the least fun class if you go for the XX Hammer DPS setup. Yeah, it's very dependent on your support. That's the important part here. If your support doesn't provide you with stability and Aegis to negate all the mechanics, it's very, very unfun to play. I agree. So I would, if you don't trust your supports, that's the thing that I would really go for Guardian because of that. Guardian is way less punishing when you don't get through your attacks, because if you can't cast the X5 consistently, it's like all your DPS is gone. It's really, really bad. So keep that in mind. I can't really boon here, that's the problem. Well, I play Guardian and Ranger. I mean, like I said, play the one that you'll enjoy more. Maybe switch it up. That's what I do. I don't play every time the same builds, especially in strike missions, which is I do it every day, strike missions, and I wouldn't have fun if I played the same build over and over for like 365 days a year. So I switch it up all the time. Keep that in mind. No dip golems, I think they have break bust, so I can't pull them. Soul Beast has really good boon uptime, even if support sucks. It's a good point, but the problem is if you don't get Aegis or stability in the first place, you would never swap to your own stability skills with the Dolyak stance and stuff. So that means that you lack value from that. Yeah, that's the problem. I would say you still require support, a decent one. And that's why I would say Soul Beast can be, at least in packs, very punishing. If you have a decent support with you, I think Soul Beast is a very good pick. If you don't, or if you can't trust them, if there's, for example, playing some kind of healing, quickness, how's it called, Herald with you, that's the only support that you have, then I wouldn't go for the stability trust. That's my assessment. Or if you have a really bad Firebrand, it's also not helping. Yeah, but if you have any questions, let me know. Always happy to answer that. Let me hydrate. So nice, we split up. That's good. Let's see if we can still burst it. I think we will. Any thoughts on Staff for Chrono Heal? I think Staff is like a support weapon. You play it as a support Condi weapon. That's the problem. So if you play a support DPS Condi Chronomancer, which you can play, then it's good. But I feel like on Chronomancer, Rival is just insane, the value. So you really want to play Rival. However, that's the cool part. I might see a Staff support how is it called? Mirage with the next patch. I really see that one. That might be coming up. With the rework of the trait that you actually provide boons on your ambush skills and not only on your staff ambush anymore. So that might make it possible to play this one, which is really fun. So might come up in the future, but staff heal as a chronomancer, I don't see it right now. Yeah. I actually should do the skip, actually. I don't have damage. I'm sorry if this wasn't answered before, but what is your best advice on dealing with bunker builds in PvP and World vs. World? So the problem is in World vs. World, you can't answer to bunker builds at all. If you're roaming and there's a bunker build, you will not win this matchup. Just leave it. That's the problem. Roaming and right now, if you face any bunker builds, it's like you will not succeed. I'm sorry, that's just not gonna work. If there's a well-played bunker build, you will not succeed. Sadly, the truth. So, can I get this? Yeah. Almost. Shit. I should have. What should? Oh, I almost got it. What did I do wrong? Probably didn't take enough healing. That's the problem. So in PvP, on the other hand, if you have bunker builds playing against you, then yeah, what can I say? If it's for example, a Dragon Hunter is really hard to deal with if they're playing well. If it's a Druid, you can burst them. They have problems against direct power damage. If you burst them a lot, that can kill them. Just bursting them, really setting it up. And if you're playing against the bunker Weaver, for example, they currently, before the balance patch, they struggle against conditions. So if you overload them with 10 conditions, they die to it because they can't cleanse all of them. But like in general, bunker builds, you should just either not fight into them, just leave them, and just, you know, they will not win the 1-on-1 for the most part. So that just leave it for them, just provide value for them in terms of let them on their side note. Don't engage with them at all, and you will be to some extent fine with that. If you, however, on the other hand, have to fight them, just try to not die and really don't get any outnumbered situations. So I can portal them. That's what I can do. Oh, let me move. So that's how you do it without the portal. At least I did that the second time. Very good. And other than that, I think that's the problem. I can't give you a general answer how to play bunker against bunker builds, because a lot of the times it's like you have to burst them. That's how you deal with bunker builds. And sadly, that's not always working. It's always team comp dependent as well. If you can't ignore them, you have to burst them. If you can't burst them, then they will bunker. That's how it works. That's the sad truth. And I don't know. I really have no good answer to this question, sadly. That's the sad truth here. And I'm really sorry to say that. Either they nerf bunker builds, or you have to ignore them or kill them after you... If you outnumber them, for example. I don't know. That's the only thing that really works. Yeah, exactly. If you can't out-rotate them, then a bunker build gets value. If you can, they don't get any value and it's lost. I think we are done. Very good. Good job, everyone. Was a nice one. Good group. I like it. Very good. I like it. Thanks. Yeah, so... sadly, I hope that's good enough for an answer for this question, but I personally, I think about it all the time, how I can answer this and how I can tell you, but I don't know, just out-rotating them, that's probably the best thing to do, but winning a 1-on-1 or killing a bunker is just by bursting them, which is obviously not always a good thing to do, because sometimes it's just very hard, you know? They are after all a bunker build, so that's what they are made to not get bursted, so... I don't know. I feel like if they can't fix it, that there are bunker builds in the meta that are really obnoxious, then it's auto-rotating is the only answer to this. There is not a single build that can kill them. I mean, there are some builds that are decent at bursting. For example, Spear Mirage or Condi Mirage even. But you need to set it up correctly. And that's not always working very well. So, yeah. No good answer to this, sadly. Welcome, Tosha, welcome. Yeah, I hope so too. I have a very good day so far. And so do I have Condi Virtuoso set up? I don't think so anymore. If that's still the build, I can still try to play the Condi Virtuoso, but I'm very rusty on it. I don't think I have it set up. Yeah, no, I don't. But it's like, I think, grinding on the golem for some kind of Condi Virtuoso, Power Virtuoso, all of that kind of stuff. I think the most important part about learning a rotation is that you set up your golem, and then that you try to slowly increase how many buttons you press and follow the rotation. So to say, you start out with your rotation and you start, for example, only using your spear, for example. If you're playing a Power Virtuoso, only use the spear skills, try to get the rhythm going. And then you slowly increase the difficulty and go up in the curves in the attacks that you use. And then that's the important part, which you really have to understand, is that it's not only about pressing the attacks in the correct order, but it's also pressing the attacks in the correct order while not having any downtime. So you don't want to use the 2 skill into the 4 skill and then have a downtime of half a second before you press the auto attack, or even worse, before you press another skill, because then you might cast an auto attack that you then cancel with using the other skill. So you really want to use always skill queuing, always use the 4 skill and then use another skill. So there is no downtime, so that you always press the button. So that's really important. That's one of the things that new players struggle the most with, is to just keep up the skills, queue them after one another if it's possible, so that you don't have any downtime where you start casting an auto attack that you don't finish, so you don't get any damage from it and just deal no damage for, I don't know, quarter of a second, something like that. And that sums up over time, and you will lose a lot of DPS because of that. Even if you do the rotation, so to say, perfectly but slow. Yeah. Do you think Ainit is aware of the bug you mentioned on the condition chronomancer thing? Using a tonic to properly use the relic? I think they are aware, but I think they are sadly not caring. So if you don't know what we are talking about, so we have a Condi Chronomancer, Condi Virtuoso build. All of them are really, really good if you use the Norris relic. This is a really interesting thing. So the Norris relic is one of the most complex relics in the game. What does it do? Gain stacks of Norris Hunger every interval, which is every 3 seconds in PvE, or when you remove boons from enemies. Yeah. Consume 10 stacks to grow larger, deal increased damage, taking reduced damage, and convert the damage percentage of your damage, condition, and power into healing. So it's really overloaded. The most important part is to get more damage, deal less, you get less damage, and you get some healing conversion when you get to 10 stacks. So you want to get to 10 stacks as fast as possible. How can you do that? By removing boons. In PvE that will never happen, but because there are not that many bosses that have boons. But if you play a build with illusions, then you get this trait, Phantasmal Haste. Phantasm spawns with quickness. Gain quickness when you create a phantasm. And if you have this, you get even might to them. And then this one. When a phantasm becomes a clone, it transfers its boons to you. That means you remove the boons from the phantasms when they die. And this actually procs the Norris relic for whatever reason. That works. That's really important. That works. However, that means that the Norris relic is really good. It procs all the time. It's really, really strong. But the problem is here that this is a transformation. The grow larger part doesn't have any influence. It's just showcasing as you grow bigger. So the problem is, for whatever reason, if you transform with the Norris relic, you can't use your phantasms, or you can use them, but they will not spawn anymore. So that means that you lose a lot of your value after you proc this relic, which is obviously really bad. So you don't want to proc that, and that's why you actually use the Endless Miniature tonic, which is a tonic that makes you small. It doesn't change anything. You can use that in combat as well. You have to recast it every time you map swap or you die, but it's really good. And it helps you because it doesn't allow the relic of Norris transformation to happen anymore, because you're already transformed. You can't get another transformation, and that means you can still get the phantasms out. And I think this is not a bug in that sense that this works, because I think this is, they just don't want you to have multiple transformations going on at the same time. So that's I think that's how it works. That's how it's intentional. The thing that's not intentional is that if this procs, you can't spawn phantasms anymore. So that's what they need to fix. But I don't have any hopes on that, because at the same time, there is this mirror blade. You know, this is a skill on Mesmer and Greatsword that is really good. It does high damage. It bounces between the enemies and your allies. So it bounces back and forth and it does damage to enemies and gives you might. The problem is this is a very buggy trait, especially when you run it with the power trait here, with the bountiful blades, which gives you 2 more bounces. In general, that should be high DPS, but if you have allies around you that are not yourself, this will actually prioritize the allies. There is some really big long forum post about this, and this is really buggy. So that means that you deal less damage when you have allies around, because it's prioritizing dealing boons to allies instead of dealing damage. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. And that's a big bug, and that's why Greatsword Virtuoso does less damage in a real fight with allies around than on the Golem. It's really weird, and they didn't fix it. This bug existed for over 10 years. They didn't fix it. So that means I have my doubts that they will fix the Norris Relic. I really think they will not do that. That's the answer to this short question, long answer, I'm sorry. What is the new quality of life next patch? What does it mean? Some new features that make the game more easy or what? Yeah, we can talk about it. Let me show it on screen. Give me a second. So this is the link. We can also talk about it, of course. So there we go. This is the blog post. I just showcase it here shortly. And this is really interesting. Yes, it works for open world in Norris build, and it works for instance content. So if you want to solo fractals or dungeons and stuff, it works there as well. The only thing where it doesn't work is PvP and world versus world, because you can't get it that consistently. But in world versus world, maybe it works to some extent as well. But in PvP, of course, it doesn't. So this is the blog post they released, I think, 2 days ago at this point, about the new quality of life features that they bring out. And the important one here is for me that we will get more stuff into this new portal tome. Over 30 items will now be converted into a single inventory slot, if you want that. So all the teleportation devices, like the map portal tomes, like tomes that give you access, for example, to Biora Marches and the Eye of the North, for example, at the same time, all of those can be combined into some single wizard's portal tome. So I will lose like 5 slots in my inventory slot that I currently use. It's really, really good. But it will also apparently include books and some kind of like that stuff. So for those story guys, I think that's also in there. Really interesting. And then the gobblers will also be interesting, so that they will also all converted into a single thing. So the ascended stuff, over 20 portable exchangers, will also be included in one thing. That's really cool. I don't know what is in there, but it still sounds really good. And then the Rift Essences will be converted to the wallet. I mean, that's too late for me. I had like 2 characters full of Rift Essences, so I really hope that they should have done that earlier, but still. That's very good. I like it. And then we get easy acquisition of research nodes. That's also decent. Let's see what kind of materials they need. Maybe it's easier to get them, but it costs more. We will see. And then we have the faction provisioner tokens will go up, and it's easier to get them. I think that's a good change. It's really annoying to get those. And the Commander's Choice chest, that's interesting. We will get a chest where you can easily convert stuff that you have just collected from meta events all over the time. You know, always the same stuff. And now you get punished currently for going to a bulk exchange because you lose some items in there. But this will change with the new choice chest. And they increase the homestead decoration limit. That's also a good thing. I'm not sure if that's good enough, if that's enough of an increase, but at least it's definitely better than before. That's the thing. Yeah, glad that you liked the warrior weapon video. It was a fun one for sure. So thanks for sharing. I will check it out. I will check it out. Thanks, Notop. I will check it out after the stream. Really curious how to implement the interface for portals and gobblers. Yeah, I really hope it's a new interface. I really hope it's a new UI, and I don't want to see like I double click it, and then you have to click one of those, and then it opens another of those windows, and then, you know, I don't want to see it. I want to see a really nice fleshed out UI, like something like this, where you can go there and can say, okay, I want to go to this location or something. That I don't have to double click, and then get to the new map. I want to have something that is actually really giving me value for having only one slot. You know, it should not be combining these items into one item and I get just to double click multiple stuff. That would be horrible. So I really hope it's really a quality of life and not just some inventory cleaning, but we will see. Sounds very cool, but also sounds like, oh, okay, now I need more gold to do this all new stuff. Yeah, I think it might be interesting. I really hope that the new stuff is actually free in that sense, that you have to do a side quest and you will get it, that there is no gold cost attached to it, because that's always a bad thing if there's a gold cost or even some kind of premium currency attached to it. But for example, we know, I think they mentioned that they will give us a new background for the homestead. So I can show you the homestead currently has two backgrounds. Yeah, so it has the day background or the night background. I really like the night one. You will see that in a lot of my videos in the background of the homestead. I really like the night one. Yeah, and they said they will have a new skybox for the homestead. That is not night or day. It will be night, but it will be way more flashy. So crazy effects in the night as well. So we will see if that will probably be in a champ store though. So yeah, let's see if that's a good thing or if that's not a good thing. At least something new, I guess. Better than nothing. I agree. Probably it's like you have to click through all the things and it's not really a convenience. It's just it just gives you more space in your inventory, and it will not be a big convenience for most people because you have to double click and double click and double click to get to the location. But I still hope that it's not. I hope that it's a new UI that is really cool. That's really fancy and just does its job better than having to double click all the time. Yeah, you can't set the night as a permanent option. That's something that is really annoying me as a YouTuber, because I record videos when I want to have the nice background here. And then I record, and after a while it like switches, you know, it gets dawn. And that's really weird, because that means I started my video at night and it goes to dawn, and it makes it look like if someone skipped, it's like I recorded it a different day or something. It's really bad. I don't like that. So I want to have it like stuck in time so that it doesn't loop through. But I think they will never include that, because it's actually using the same night-day cycle that we actually have in the real game, in like the normal maps. Just that you here can say start at day now, start night now, and then it starts the timer and it will swap after that as well. It's like in the real open world. That's the really weird part here. I don't know if that's a good thing. Thanks, it's Vishna, by the way, for the follow. Yeah, I think that's also enough for today. I'm done with streaming. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast. It was really cool. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the follows and subs and the bits. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your support. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel. I have some really big content upcoming the next few days, starting today. I think in a few minutes, actually, I will have a big content debate coming up. So be sure to check that one out. Yeah, have a nice weekend. See you around. And Echo Fox, next time we'll do practice together again and you play Conde Virtuoso or something. We will see. See you around. Thanks for the follow, Slow. Really appreciate it. Have a nice weekend. Stay well. See you.